This is a HeadGum podcast.
Now on today's program, my oh my, as time flies by, this is the season finale of We Hate Movies Talking. Spider-Man 3. I'm Andrew Jupin.
Steven Sadak.
Chris Cabin.
Eric Spideka.
That sucks.
Spiderka. Someone on Twitter told me to do that.
Spideka.
All right, start the show.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to We Hate Movies. Thank you for tuning in. As always, this is indeed the last one of the season, gang. The big one, Spider-Man 3 from 2007, directed by Sam Raimi. This has been like one of the most requested episodes. I think Twitter went apeshit when we sort of announced that this was coming out.
Absolutely. And by the way, speaking of Twitter, remember, if you ever make a bad joke, somebody on Twitter told you to say that. Just to know.
Yes.
No, I know. I can find the timestamp.
I want to see that. Senator, I want to see those tweets.
All right, we're recording this at 6:57 p.m. on Wednesday, July 12th. I want to see those fucking timestamps.
But his emails. Yeah, it's Spider-Man 3.
Who saw this in theaters?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
definitely.
right here.
This is a Kaufman Astoria, baby.
Oh, is that right?
I think it premiered there, right? Or they had some screening there because it's like, hey, Astoria, Queens. It's kind of like Spider-Man land.
I read this. It premiered at the Tribeca Film Festival.
Oh,
yeah.
boy.
Well,
Very
they,
strange.
They showed some Raimi Spider-Man movie at the Kaufman Astoria. It might not have been. It might not have been like a first premiere.
Oh, sure.
Well, he did two others, you know.
Andrew, that's what you should. That's what you should do. You work at the Jacob Burns Film Center in Westchester. The XMen live in Westchester. Have a big XMen thing.
Oh, fuck.
That's a great-
Hey, Fox, are you listening to that shit? I know you're planning 3 more of them there movies, setting them in the 90s.
Can your theater house all the generations of all the different X-Men? Because they're all coming.
That's a good question.
Oh, we'll get them all on stage.
All the timelines too.
Yeah.
Do you have
All the time.
accessibility seating for the blob or no?
Oh, yeah, no, it's fine. We have armless chairs.
You're going to need like 16.
I thought you were going to say for Professor.
That's what I thought. Well, also true. Yeah. Well, actually, there's a lot of accessibility seating needed because they're a diverse group.
They're mostly disabled. yeah.
They're mostly different and
Right,
disabled.
right, but like wondrous in other ways.
Oh,
right?
Oh,
Sure,
that's right.
exactly.
We have accessible seating for half Japanese girls that shoot fireworks out of their hands.
Absolutely.
Don't worry about it.
Your problem child, though, is going to be multiple man.
Yeah, you know what? He only gets so many comps.
Yeah, you get you got 2 butt cheeks. That's all you get, multiple man. That's it.
But this is me too. And this is me too.
You think he's trying to get like 7 people on one ticket?
No, that's just
Fucking
expensive.
cheapskate.
Oh, I guess. Yeah, then you can just that's.
Or
a
you
problem.
just walk out to go to the bathroom, hand them the ticket, and then that one goes
I
back
would
in.
love to be multiple man at the movies because then I could actually save a seat. You know what I mean? Like, oh wait, you got to go to the bathroom. Well, boom, there's another one of me sitting here now, so that
You can make an invisible donut of just
Yes!
you.
Oh my god!
wow.
A me donut. That's what I want. Take a bite.
This Spider-Man 3 is
Yes.
probably one of my top 10 movie disappointments. Like,
Yeah.
really just up there. X-Men 3, The Last Stand as well. But this was like a real deal disappointment because I love that Spider-Man 2.
I do also. I
Yeah,
think,
and I loved it even more then. I might
Right.
like it more now. I'm
did
not
we,
sure.
Did we all rewatch these movies? All
Yes.
of them?
Yeah.
Because I did.
yeah,
I did too.
I did the rewatch. The scripts for these movies, even though like I do like the idea of 2.
Sure.
I'm the opposite of you. These didn't hold up for me. I don't think it's better than when I last saw it. But I remember at the time being like, well, this is the best superhero movie ever made.
It was at the time, I think.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, other than Batman Returns, which
What
I'll get into a fight with everybody later.
You'll
But
be fighting dads on August 5th.
But other than that, Spider-Man 2 was at the time the best superhero movie.
Even like
I
Roger
never-
Ebert was like, this movie is like a fantastic like 4-star film.
It's got an arc, you know what I mean? Like, and it's really specific about what it's trying to do. You know what I mean? You got Tobey doing his stuff, and you're like, oh man, and now they're doing all this stuff, and then the stuff starts to come out, and it's like, oh, Sandman. Yeah, sure. Okay, yeah, I can get excited for Sandman.
Did you see the thing on the Tribune about how Raimi and Maguire like teamed up and they're like, we are going to do Sandman. And I'm like, who gives a shit about Sandman?
And no one ever has.
Who
I mean,
could
like,
possibly
no one-
care?
Because I don't, as we all know, historically, I don't know much about comics in the printed form. But he's not like, he was never a big deal.
I mean, he's a villain. I mean, Spider-Man's got you got a lot of fucking you got 12 comic books a year. You're gonna have a villain every issue.
Well, I mean, I know he farted around on the cartoon quite a bit, which I watched. But like, yeah, as far as like selecting him for a movie,
he
it's
was
like,
never one of the tops. He was always
right,
a second stringer.
Electro. That was the
No,
top.
no. The one that they've always fucking evaded, and it's pissed me off for years now, is Mysterio.
Oh yeah.
They should have been doing him for a
No,
long.
what's
He
that
looks
guy?
cool.
He's got a mask.
He's got like a crystal ball for a head, essentially.
Oh, I like that's nice.
Yeah.
They actually said if there was a Spider-Man 4 and or 5, Mysterio would have been one of the villains, played by Bruce Campbell. He would have gotten
What?
the nod.
Oh,
fucking
man.
finally going beyond these cameos that he debases himself in.
I like the first two cameos. This one's really obnoxious
So-
and embarrassing.
When I rewatched these movies, number one, I loved when it came out.
Yeah.
I just liked now, and then number two, I thought was kind of dull back then, and I
Still
have the
think
same
that way. Yeah.
opinion.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought the first one when I saw it in the theater, it was kind of just like a shrug. I was like, this is cool, but the first X-Men movie was better. And like that's where my head was at the time. And then the second one, I was like, holy fuck, that's great. And it's still good.
Molina's really like great. Like you know what I mean?
He's selling it. But what was killing me though, that script though. There's that scene where he goes to interview Doc Ock like at his lab, and this son of a bitch is talking to him about like, you gotta read women poetry. Here's how I fell in love with my wife. I was like, I could not give a flying
You
fuck.
know what? When I watched that scene again this time, I was like, is Dr. Octopus angling for a threesome with this kid? Like, you've got like your sexy wife next.
For
Just
sure.
stick her. No, we'll do the interview. We'll have coffee. Oh, you want a drink, Peter? Peter, you want
What do you think the motivation for developing those hands were? Because that's the weird thing that you sort of don't remember about that movie. He's got two projects going at the same time. One is his like, it's the new form of energy that's going to change how we live on this planet. And then
Enertron.
also these fucking arms that have a mind of their own.
Codenamed the Gropatron.
Yeah, I mean, what do you
yeah,
think
totally.
those things were for?
My biggest problem with Doc Ock in that movie is that an inhibitor chip breaks on the back of the spine.
Yes.
That makes him go nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is he, fucking Data? I just did.
It kind of is.
I mean, it's a comic book. I shouldn't judge. It's
But overall, that's a really we all kind of agree those are good to
yes,
really
yes.
good
I
movies.
will,
depending
I
on
will sign off. I will add my signature to that.
Ramping up to this third movie where they put the blood in the water by saying Venom's going to be in it.
Yes,
That's
Oh, and
that's like a mighty thing to throw out.
So you have to do it right.
Yeah,
They do not do it right.
It's literally the opposite of doing it right.
they do it wrong.
You're wrong.
You go to Marshallou Parkway in the Bronx, man. You say Venom, and you can see 5 guys with Venom t-shirts. Like, yeah, it's my favorite villain.
Yep.
That's what I was going to
yep.
say. Now, I was so excited when they announced Venom, not because I was a Spider-Man comic reader, but because I saw a lot of T-shirts in 1998. I'm like, they're finally doing it. That's fucking. I'm going to see a T-shirt come to life.
In the
You'll
year-
believe a T-shirt can fly.
In the years since, have you seen less and less T-shirts?
Yes, I think so.
Oh,
They
that's-
were
that's
replaced
surprising.
by Deadpool t-shirts.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All those
Yeah.
dudes that
Sure.
were wearing Venom t-shirts, those got chucked out for Deadpool t-shirts.
Anti-hero to anti-hero, man. You got to switch it around.
And I could not give less of a shit. I mean, we'll get to him in a little bit. So opening credits, it's one of these like previously on Spider-Man, and you're watching like bad clips from those other two movies, just like,
You're also getting the computer black blood that it looks like a Peter Gabriel video. And I was expecting a toad to come in and dance a little bit, but no, it looks like absolute shit.
these movies never got that opening credit sequence, and it's also because they were just aping how the X-Men movies opened.
Yeah.
I also think the music in all 3 of these movies is pretty bad. I think that
It's really over the top.
Elfman does
Yeah.
not need to be anywhere near these movies. And
No.
because you think you're watching a Batman movie. You're like, oh, it's like, yeah, I got it.
My wife
that's what he
said-
does.
My wife said during the opening credits, she's like, "This music is giving me anxiety."
And I don't need like this swooping score for fucking Thomas Haden Church.
Exactly. I mean, the man is made from wood.
Here's a question: the first 2 movies are super of their time, like really, really of their time.
Yeah.
And this one, for some reason, exists in like a Dick Tracy world where like all the cops have like weird, like, you know, hats on all the time and like
police caps or whatever.
police caps. I noticed like there's like it just seems very like even more cartoony than the other ones.
Yeah,
Am I nuts?
I guess
no,
so.
I don't think you are, and I think it's just because like
And all the
these
disco shit.
Oh God.
because these movies get more cartoonish as they go on.
Yeah.
And this is just Silly Town, and it's that thing where like, and it's all Raimi because like you watch
Yeah.
that first Evil Dead movie. There's some like comedy in it. Then you get that second one. It's a fucking flat out horror comedy, which is great. I mean, Evil Dead 2 is an amazing movie. Army of Darkness, it's still very silly. Like, so that's it's that. And that's why I hate those Bruce Campbell cameos too. I'm like, it doesn't fucking belong here. It's already silly enough that there's a guy fucking swinging around on webs that come out of his wrists and a dude made of sand.
Well, yeah, I mean, I like that they doubled down on silly kind of, because what else is it? You know?
Well, I think it's just they stuffed this movie so full of shit.
Yes.
That like you have no time to actually meditate on anything in this movie, so it has to be a cartoon.
Every plot
what else is
point
it going to
just-
be?
Every plot point just gets like skipped over, get to the next thing, because also Raimi didn't want to do Venom. And I think that this is like a weird thing where like the first two movies were like successful and both financially and critically. And then they like kind of like the studio wouldn't shut up. Like usually you give the guy the third movie. Like Nolan's Dark Knight Rises, it's entirely for better and for worse, all Nolan nonsense. You know what I mean? Like it's not like some studio being like, well, you know, Venom sold really well in the comics, so
We're selling a lot of Venom t-shirts these days.
Well, that's the problem. It's like the first movie's got one villain. The second movie has one villain. Correct me if I'm wrong. I might have
that's
fallen
just
asleep.
one
I
and
mean,
man.
it's just
doesn't
Doc Ock.
So, but-
doesn't Goblin kind of come in towards the, or is he just realize it at
he's
the
just
end?
kind of
He's just
thinking, am I going to be
realizing.
Green
Okay.
Goblin? Am I
Right.
not going to be Green
But
Goblin?
this movie has three villains, right?
yes.
You got
Goblin 2.0.
Right. Is that Hobgoblin?
No, they've referred to him
What?
as New Goblin.
I've been calling him Hobgoblin. Was that not a thing?
Isn't he a different person?
It's a
There's a
different
different
villain,
dude
also
who's like-
called Hobgoblin.
He's like more yellow in color.
Well, James Franco's more yellow than Willem Dafoe.
That's just jaundice.
It's just the filter on the camera.
Well, then you got Sandman and Venom, and it's
Yes.
just too much.
It's way too, and you're starting three villains. Like, yeah, the Harry stuff is like it's in the first two movies, so like you don't have to spend so much time on it. But clearly, that's what everybody was most interested in, who was making this movie.
But we should not be in a third movie situation, and I'm still seeing a fucking glider floating around.
Yeah, that's-
like
a snowboard glider.
You
this
better
time.
believe it.
Thank
It's-
God.
yeah, it's the fucking X Games of the Marvel universe.
So we start with Mary Jane's Broadway musical, which looks atrocious, which is called the Manhattan Memories. Is that did I get that right?
Yeah.
And there's like honest to goodness chorus girls, and I'm like, what the fuck year is this?
You could go. They got shit on Broadway right now like that, right? There's this
Chicago.
Sure, and then there was something else.
Oops, I
man.
farted, or what? Like,
Yeah.
there's always that, like, oh no, the play that can't go right, or whatever is going on right now.
There's always like a revival of some like old
Yeah.
hat thing that you're just like, I don't care about this. Did you check that script and take out all the racism? Like,
No.
But yeah, but whatever the
What
fuck
if we
she's
put
in.
let's hire an actual Asian actor for Hop Hop, huh? You know, the character that everybody loves in this play, Hop Hop, or whatever nonsense.
Man, I
these-
forgot how weird Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark was.
Oh shit, man! I saw that, and
You-
I saw it
in
You
the
almost
theater.
said
Well, of
theater.
course.
I was about to say in theaters, but where else could you see
In
it?
a
Yeah,
Broadway theater.
on the Broadway
How was
theater.
that? I did not see that. Did Spider-Man die during your production?
I saw the first version of it because it was in previews, and then they like revamped it and
Right.
took it away from Julie Taymor, and it was weird. It's bad. It's got like it's very much
too.
it's very much that first movie down to the really bad Green Goblin costume.
That exact thing is
That
in there?
exact costume. It looks like
that
crap.
Power Ranger villain.
I did. I didn't mind it.
When you saw it on Broadway?
No. The Willem Dafoe's
the goblin
costume.
costume.
It's all right. I noticed actually watching it in high def
yeah.
that you can see his eyeballs through it,
right.
which I'd never noticed before. So that kind of made it easier to watch this time.
It's fine. I think it's after seeing the test footage of the other one.
Yeah.
I'm like, that should have been the thing because
Like,
that was
it
much
did
more
look good. What, it was like a latex mask.
Yeah, like a weird latex mask that you
animatronic.
can move.
And that
like,
was in the
ugh.
comics. Like this dude would just put on a fucking latex mask.
Yeah, like he
Yeah.
was a real fucking creep, and like, yeah, I don't know. Like,
Then you know what? If they were going to do that in the first movie, they would have to definitely at least show 1 or 2 scenes of Willem Dafoe jerking off in a theater. Like he has to be a real weirdo. They have to double down on that weirdness because
Is he wearing the mask whilst jerking off?
Oh, that's interesting.
everyone comes in with a package under their arm.
You can find me at the AMC Empire doing the business.
Hey, no, dig for the popcorn.
Avenge me!
Oh yeah, avenge my masturbation. There's
so-
no reason for him to be in this, and
No.
he's in it, and I fucking
as
hate it.
a mirror ghost.
No, he's not even in a mirror. He's
What?
fucking just standing in
What?
front of James Franco.
Well,
my
yeah, but like he's
God.
in the mirror for a while, and then there's also there's that great Willem Dafoe painting, which I kind of want.
I do want that too.
wall-sized
Yeah.
painting of Willem
That should
Dafoe.
replace the Kramer posters in dorms.
Exactly.
And maybe it has. No fucking college kid knows what Seinfeld is these days.
No, they do.
No, of course
People
they do.
love
It's
it.
on-
Is that
It's on
right?
the Hulu,
Yeah.
man.
Are you
The 90s are back.
are you like a 17-year-old kid watching Seinfeld?
More than likely.
Probably.
You think so?
Yes.
No, yeah, because
You're probably just finding out about it at 17.
It's got to be like a fucking alien coming to Earth. You you don't understand any of the references.
well, I'll fucking catch up because a senior man at my office.
Uh-huh.
I overheard him.
man.
He was a top man, and he's got a daughter who's 20, loves Seinfeld.
Yeah,
Wow.
they're out there.
That's weird.
The truth is out there.
Figure you're watching it and they're like, why is everybody calling him on that phone? Who the hell's Saddam Hussein? Keith Hernandez.
No, those things are all relevant.
And then
to
you would
them.
ask your parents, you'd be like, "What? Did everyone drive around in New York in the 90s?" Like, no, they didn't. Nobody
No,
ever did.
nobody did.
No, nobody had cars. No one's ever had cars in Manhattan. Sorry. So like the beginning of the movie, he's like, "Wow, gee willikers, it sure is fun being Spider-Man." And then he's like, "Sure hope I don't have a downfall at some
Dude,
point."
he's a fucking turd.
Baby. He's a fucking baby throughout this movie.
Of course
I can't
he is.
fucking stand
Especially this movie, but throughout all of them.
Yeah, he's a
Peter
little
Parker
dopey.
is a fucking turd.
it. This
and I
Peter
hate his
Parker,
guts.
this Peter Parker specifically is such like a golly geesh motherfucker. Like he'll just stand in the middle of a street, be like, "Wow, that's great."
Yeah,
Yes, no, you are not from Queens. You are not from
He's
Queens.
so not from Queens. He's so not from Queens. He's so not from Earth. I mean, like, talk about fucking aliens, man. I don't like the idea, and this happens in the second movie. I hate this notion that, like, the whole world is against him.
Yes.
Like, you can be a nerd and unpopular in school and whatever, but there's the scene where, like, as a fucking college-aged adult, he's going to see his girlfriend in a Broadway play, and he stops off to get her flowers. And it's this gag of, like, he buys a bouquet of flowers, the fucking bodega owner looks at it, like the money that he gave him, and then takes a bunch of flowers back. Fucking fuck you.
Well,
that is so fucking stupid.
Things have prices, and if you can't get,
Yeah.
if you don't reach the price of the thing, they don't give you any of it. You're not gonna get one M&M. I've tried. Like, yo,
No, it's
dude,
like-
I
it's
got
like a-
80 cents. Give me one
an
M&M.
M&M Lucy.
Oh,
Oh,
man.
man, they'll
Wow,
strangle.
they'll kill you for that.
But it's like a Buster Keaton bit or something.
Yeah.
It doesn't belong.
It has no fucking place in a superhero
But
movie.
bring you back right before that in Columbia at Columbia, he's getting spitballed.
That's in my notes. He's
Give
getting
me a
spitballs.
fucking break.
There's a dude refracting light into his eye with a mirror. What the fuck are you talking
I'm like,
about?
excuse me. By the way, we're in a pre-doctorate program at Columbia. Could you stop?
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. This is costing me $80,000 a year. Can you not shoot spitballs at me? Because you're paying it too.
And what year was this? I mean, he should be
2007.
Oh man! Well, Columbia, like Facebook started unrolling in the Ivy Leagues first, so it should have focused on cyberbullying.
Oh,
Oh,
like
right.
that.
Yeah, because then maybe Peter Parker would have killed himself.
Yeah.
Then Miles Morales could have come in.
That'd be cool.
I don't know if he was invented in 2007.
No, I think he's like closer to 2010.
Oh, I
want to
see.
guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, Harry, by the way, is just at is just at the what do you call it? Is at the play.
He's
and
in
like,
rich
being-
people's seats.
He's like creepy, like smiling at her. And then like, here's my question: do Peter and MJ talk ever?
No.
Like, they're dating. We don't know if they have sex. We don't. There's no scene.
Nope.
No, I guess not.
Nope.
He praises her an awful lot. That's kind of it.
Well,
But,
because it's like he's so desperate to hang on to this girl that he's been eerily obsessed with since high school that it's like, oh, it's just all about you, MJ. You're just the best, MJ. Oh, golly gee, MJ, it'll get better.
Maybe when we're married, I'll be on the pedestal too.
MJ, when you left your shoe here the other day, I lost it. Just can't find it. I cannot find that shoe you left in my apartment, MJ. I'm sorry.
Oh, MJ, wait a second. I'll be right back. Oh, shoot.
Oh, actually, I found the shoe, but the sole is missing.
Peter, is this spider webs or human webs?
Oh, yeah.
But my question is, why aren't you the first thing? Like, oh, she finds out he's Spider-Man in the second movie, be like, by the way, and she's always like, oh, that Harry, he's great. Like, oh yeah, I guess that'd be great too if my dad was a Green Goblin. Like, wait, what? Like, I would say that immediately.
Yeah, totally.
A, for gossip, and B, for safety. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's
You tell your partner everything. man.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And like that's a pretty big thing. Hey, our friend who I kind of don't like it anymore, and you don't know why. I murdered his dad, who also happened to be the Green Goblin, if you'll recall that. You remember that time you were like on that balcony and that shit fucking exploded, and then I saved you?
Remember how bad he was? I mean, he killed some defense contractors.
Remember that awkward Thanksgiving we had? Yeah, that guy was the Green Goblin.
Boy, oh boy, is that awkward that's as awkward as it gets, that Thanksgiving scene in part 1. Holy shit.
But she doesn't know, so she's at risk this entire movie. Like, and they don't say anything about it. So he goes to Aunt May to ask for a wedding ring. We have to talk about fucking Ben Parker, like he walked on fucking water.
He doesn't go there to ask for that ring. He goes there just to be like, hey, Aunt May, I'm going to ask MJ to marry me. And then after that fucking Ben Parker post-death blowjob sob story about how saintly that guy was, she's like, here, take this. I just spent 10 minutes telling you the story of our engagement. That's why this movie is 2 hours and 17 minutes.
I have heard about a ghost giving a blowjob, but a ghost getting a blowjob?
So you haven't seen the director's cut of The Frighteners.
Oh, man.
Dude.
Yeah, Michael J. Fox got up to some weird shit
Hold
in that
on a
director's cut.
second.
All right, now it's like a reverse Ghostbusters, The Frighteners, right? So what if a ghost gets a blowjob?
Oh.
It's me, Peter Jackson.
All right,
Dude.
Jake, it's coming from you. Jake Busey's the ghost. You're getting it.
Michael J. Fox, Michael, you want to get down there?
We're going to be flipping the script, flipping it.
Dude, if this exists, someone hook me up, man.
Well, certainly everyone's going to remember the Frighteners.
And
Don't forget this
and then-
paranormal comedy.
Dan Aykroyd's gonna step on a marshmallow. Yeah, everyone will get it.
I remember liking the Frighteners. It's been a while.
I like that movie quite a bit.
Yeah, but so he gets this ring, and then Harry attacks him, dressed like the X Games, as we've discussed. And it just I don't mind the spider action in this movie. Actually,
It's pretty good.
You
I
can
do.
see. Okay.
Oh,
Well,
I
you
think
texted
this-
last night about the CGI.
The CGI is the worst.
The CGI is pretty bad.
I don't think so. I don't know.
Yeah.
All the Spider-Manning, I think it's totally fine.
I'm kind of on your page here because I
Yeah.
felt like the Transformers movies looked worse.
I actually think that it's good until the end, until there's too much CGI going on. Like
That's
Yeah.
that's
the
true.
Harry
you-
and him fight is fine because it's a lot of green screen and a lot of like whatever.
I actually really liked the Peter Parker versus Harry fight because I thought it was interesting to see Peter Parker fight with Spider-Man powers without being in
Yeah,
the suit.
that is
Cool.
pretty cool.
You don't see that often. It's a very big thing in the comics. He'll be walking up around, and it's a pretty good suit.
But also, he is walking around in this suit without the mask on a whole fucking bunch in this movie.
That's-
he really does not give a
that
shit
suit.
anymore.
Steve was talking about the suit that
No,
he
no,
was
the
wearing
suit,
at the
but yeah.
theater.
But no, but I agree with you. I mean, that's kind of the problem with all of these movies, and we'll get to Venom. Same deal. Is like you pay for this actor. Well, you gotta see the actor. Well, it's like, well, that's what Deadpool shows you don't have to do. Like, we're there for Ryan Reynolds, but we're hearing him. He's doing it. It's fine.
And the costume's cool, man.
Yeah. And also,
have some confidence.
I fucking hate faces anyway.
Tobey Maguire's face specifically.
It's a real punch. It's a real punchable face.
In this one, man, this guy looks awful.
Well, he's 35 years old. Like, what the fuck do you want?
Oh my god,
35 years old playing a sprightly 20.
I know, it's crazy. I mean, I don't know if he's 35, but he's older than he's playing.
He's older than Star Wars, that's for sure.
But it's like don't have Spider-Man. Like, there's the scene. It's like after his first encounter with Sandman, I think, where he's sitting up on the rooftop and he's like knocking sand out of his boot with the thing off. I'm like, you're in Manhattan, man. There's buildings taller than the one you're fucking sitting on. Someone is looking out at you.
Hey, Spider-Man!
Yeah, exactly.
The worst one, and I don't mean to get us too ahead of ourselves here, but I have to. When he is the guest of honor at like a New York day to celebrate Spider-Man.
Parade.
When he gets the key to the city, which is a thing that only happens in Dick Tracy comics.
He is on a building, catty corner from the celebration with the mask off, looking down at everybody. It is nuts.
It's like, this is a celebration where the celebratee or the celebrated, is going to drop from the sky. Everyone's going to be looking up that entire time. What are you doing?
Yeah, his cover's blown.
Find a green room.
Oh my god! Somebody's going to some lunatic has Spider-Man's suit on and he's going to jump off the ledge.
Would it be the worst thing in the world if he pulled like an Iron Man and was just like, hey, I'm this fucking loser who's in college right now. I'm also Spider-Man.
Everyone's kind of weirdly obsessed with him, and he weirdly always kind of knows his villains anyway, so that he's the most vulnerable. Everyone's like, oh yeah, it's Spider-Man from my fucking poetry class.
But Steve, as a Spider-Man aficionado, you subscribe to the magazine Spider-Man Aficionado as well. But if Peter Parker were to do that, and say, "Hey, I'm Spider-Man, everyone."
Sure.
Would you shit your britches? Would that be like sacrilegious to the comic book?
I mean, it probably is, but I can't tell you it didn't happen because I mean, there's been a billion of these comics. But yeah,
but you read every single one, right?
Yeah, I'd have to. I
read
them.
You couldn't say you're a fan until you read every single one.
I read them last night in preparation for this podcast.
Oh, nice. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that Marvel Unlimited app.
Oh yeah, forget about it, man.
It's a bullshit thing. You sort of mentioned it, Steve, but when after Harry leaves the play and he goes home and he's like, I'm going to do this goblin experiment, all you get out of it is just James Franco stands in the chamber and you see the green gas coming up and he's like, okay. And then it cuts and then you don't know what the fuck happened to him.
No, you'd have to have recently seen the first movie, like, oh, that's the goblin gas. And there's not he's not a test subject. There's not nothing. And that's the problem with this movie is there's so much shit going on. That's all you get, James Franco.
Yeah.
It's a shot of you with green fake gas.
He gets in there and he farts and that's it. And then so they have this fight and Peter Parker winds up fucking him up something real good. Mm-hmm. And then he takes him to the hospital because Franco wipes out, Harry Osborn wipes out and falls a bunch of feet and whatever.
Harry, that's why I wore that green stupid mask. What are you, dumb? Protect my head! Concussion!
But yeah, so he's in the hospital and he conveniently doesn't remember anything about how he thinks Spider-Man murdered his father and his hatred of he knows at the end of the second movie that Peter is Spider-Man, so he forgets all of that.
How are you doing a blockbuster movie and
there's a subplot from a fucking bad soap opera?
Yes,
in it?
I don't know. Amnesia plot line?
Yeah, I don't know. It's fucking terrible.
It's insane.
It's hard.
It's jaw dropping because I forgot about this. I was like, "You've got to be kidding!" Because it lasts for 25 minutes. I'm like, "Who cares?"
And in general, I prefer evil James Franco to nice guy James Franco.
Well, he's
if we're gonna be really honest about him in general, I prefer him as a shit.
It's a little regarding Henry-ish, the way he's playing it. Come on, I'm just saying, it's a big wide smile. He even goes to somebody, he's like, do I have any girlfriends? And everyone's like, oh man, I feel so bad for him. I feel so bad for him.
Is this music? Is this music? I've heard so much about music.
Did I ever tell you about the time a person I went to high school with totally claimed they had amnesia?
No.
Oh.
Wait, did you figure this out?
Oh, I remember. Okay.
So one day this girl comes into science class and this other girl's with her, and the other girl's like, so yeah, they found her on the side of the road and she totally has amnesia now. And I was like, this is garbage. And so like they were playing it like this chick had amnesia, and I sat in front of her in science class, and she just goes, "Are we friends?"
Oh man.
Oh dude.
Oh, wait,
Was she ever exposed?
Yeah.
You know what? Nobody ever really followed up because everybody was kind of just like, yeah, okay.
Whatever. Lady.
Really?
It was like
everyone just let it go.
it was like the last 2 weeks of senior year.
Oh yeah. Well, forget
and we were
about
like,
it.
first of all,
I'm gonna have amnesia in 2 months.
it's a
lady.
fucking small town. If somebody's found on the side of the road, it's all over the news.
In my high school, they found a girl on the side of the road. Turns out she died in a car accident.
Well, that makes sense.
So she didn't remember anything.
What with being deceased?
Yeah, she died.
So she had amnesia too.
yeah, exactly.
No, it was a weird thing because I was like, no, this is reality, and that's like one of the rarest medical conditions of all time.
Speaking of reality, Spider-Man being able to see the stars in Central Park.
Oh my
that's
god!
fucking
Shut
fake.
the fuck up.
That's the fakest shit I've ever seen.
Yeah, he makes also. That's another thing. It's him and it's back in the Golly G times. It's him and MJ sitting in a web, not doing anything.
Come on.
And
Literally, one homeless person looks up and you're done.
Exactly. It's like, it's Spider-Man and his girlfriend. Spider-Man's dressed up for a date.
Oh, Spider-Man gets off fucking in public. Wait, no, but he doesn't fucking
What
public.
you doing to that lady's shoes? Happy birthday to me.
Well, also, it's disgusting because it's like, oh yeah, MJ, let's go fucking romantically sit in shit that comes out of holes in
Thank
my
you.
wrist.
I know. No, we need to talk about this. I'm thinking about this. So all this web stuff, right? It comes out of his body.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
He's got two little
shoots
little fucking wrist vaginas.
at least
It's a real fucking James Woods thing.
he shoots at least like a football field in this movie alone.
Yeah.
How is what is going on?
It's a great question.
Like, why isn't he like the Blob? And he's like, oh no, MJ, I gotta shoot until I look normal.
Well, like a baby, he's a fan of milk and cookies. So
Yeah.
maybe it's milk. Maybe it's just a protein.
Really, you think so?
Yeah.
No, I think what Eric's getting at is he needs to be milked. Does he have to clean these things with like Q-tips afterwards?
You gotta get in there with
Must
rubbing
have-
alcohol.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, really?
Or some iodine or something.
Oh man, do you think he gets like infections in those
He
holes?
must
Of
get
course,
so many
there are fucking holes in his
And
wrist.
he's fighting. It's like debris is falling in there, like fucking taxi juice.
My
or
God,
whatever.
the sand is everywhere. I gotta get into my little holes.
I don't understand. Like when you're writing this first movie and someone's like reading through the script and they're like, oh, well, I've read a Spider-Man comic or two in my day. Doesn't he just have like little pockets that he's invented these little packs and they do it? And they're like, no, we're going to save a bunch of time. It's just going to fucking come out of his body.
At the very least, you need moisturizer for these spider holes.
Right.
Yes.
And shouldn't he have like a big bulbous ass like a spider, right? Like, don't they? Isn't that where they keep their web? I don't know.
And then he shits poison.
I
or-
mean, like,
he
this is
fucking
the-
eats bugs.
If we're gonna do it, let's do it then, guys.
Eat a bug. Eat a fucking bug. You're gonna be Spider-Man. You're gonna eat a bug.
So Harry has amnesia. That's fine. We do meet Flint Marco, who just breaks out of prison and has to go home to say hello to his precious baby daughter, who is, she's got like 5 fake diseases at once. She's got like
Oh
a
my God.
respirator, and, like
a super
crutches.
cancer, I believe
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah,
She's got fucked up little kid teeth. That's not helping anybody.
And he's
living off of Astoria Boulevard. Oh man, it's
man.
tough. It's tough.
And his wife comes in and like starts chewing him. I was like, "Listen, lady, I'm just here to get my Sandman shirt. I'm getting out. Like, look, I just came home
This
to get
fucking
my
shirt.
Sandman
This
shirt."
is your Dick Tracy connection. This
Yes.
fucking shirt and Thomas Haden Church in general. God damn it. Go work for Prune
He
Face
does. He
asshole.
does look like Flat Top, actually.
He's fucking terrible in this movie. He says, I think he's got like 12 lines of dialogue.
Total,
Yeah.
maybe.
Most of them occur at the final scene with Peter Parker, but like he's awful in this movie. And I'm not the biggest fan of his, but I've seen him be good in things.
No, yeah, I like Sideways. I like him in
This
stuff.
is not one of those times. It's just like, Stacy, I'm the Sandman now.
He has 13 lines, and they all all end with "For my daughter."
Hey, you think 20-year-olds are watching Ned and Stacy on Hulu?
No, I don't. So we can go through his plot. Basically,
Sure.
oops, by the way, he actually killed Ben Parker, besainted Ben Parker.
The only good thing about this is I get to see this fucking old piece of shit assassinated 7 times over in this
Oh
movie.
man, yeah, you get to see that a bunch of times.
Just him fucking bleeding out in the street, finally.
It's beautiful.
God, I hate it. I hate it so much.
Because apparently, he was the accomplice to the blonde guy in the first movie that Peter definitely kills.
Oh,
I know.
he murdered that guy.
Everyone keeps being like, "Oh," and then there was a scuffle and he fell out the window. He's
tripped.
just like,
he tripped.
yeah, but
But it was definitely related to the
situation.
the bloodthirsty
It's
fight.
definitely a manslaughter charge at the very least.
Very least.
because he like Peter Parker steps to him,
Yeah,
to
exactly.
fight, and he backs up and falls out a window. You murdered that guy.
But doesn't he say "I'm sorry, I did it" at some point, and they just cut around it?
he just felt bad, I guess.
No, he didn't give a
Who
fuck.
says sorry? There's an awful lot of saying sorry in this
The
movie.
guy who got killed in the first one.
Oh,
No.
If I'm
no.
remembering the first
Oh,
one
maybe-
right,
wait.
I think he says something to the effect
I'm
of
sorry.
he acknowledges yes, I
I
did
think
do
you're right.
it.
He sounds like a Muppet or something when he says it to him.
but he-
I'm sorry.
He was protecting Thomas Haden. He was
Oh,
protecting
of course.
Flint Marco,
Saint
who I
Marco.
guess was doing something else.
What you're oh God, I hate it. You're dirtbag criminals. Throw that fucker under
Absolutely
the bus.
no. There's
What
a
you-
big fucking Thomas Haden Church looking motherfucker with huge wrists.
dude. This
he is jacked at it. His arms are disturbing in this. Film.
for no reason because he's a sand person through most of this
Exactly.
movie.
We can get. So he goes. He's getting. His wife kicks him out. He gets his. Luckily, gets his Sandman shirt. He goes. He's running, escaping from the Dick Tracy police. He goes into an open research facility and falls into a hole.
That's
And
my-
they're
it's one of my-
doing sand science.
Dude, one of my
science.
one of my favorite details in this entire movie is this part because he jumps this fence and there's this sign that says caution, quantum physics experiment in progress. I was like, no one's ever made a sign like
Where'd
that.
you get
ever.
that one made up from?
How about just fucking caution? That's enough.
Or
No-
have a
no
guy out
entrance.
there and be like, "Hey,
Well,
they're
you're doing an
sand shit
experiment
over
of
there."
this magnitude. Yeah, you better have a security force.
Well, I don't think anybody foresaw that science plus sand equals Sandman.
Well, the guy that they're like, there's a bunch of scientists who are like, "Oh, I think something's in the facilitator there," and they're like, probably a bird.
It's a Simpsons joke because it's it'll be fine.
And those 8 cameras we had trained on it all went down at the same time. Who cares?
Well, it's
so
saying
dumb.
it's a 215-pound body built. Nah, it's fine. It's a bird.
It's probably just a bunch of birds. They'll fly away when this thing gets started.
Or it's a rat king.
So he turns into the Sandman, and the first scene is this weird artistic animation thing of him building himself.
Talk about Peter Gabriel videos.
That's true.
It looks like the best animated short nominee from Yugoslavia. You know what I mean? It's like,
really does.
And Gorky Baryshnikov's Man of Sand.
It's a bunch
also
of shit.
A Farting Thimble by Pixar. The winner, The Farting Thimble by Pixar.
It's a bunch of fucking shit that Nicole Kidman would pretend to clap for at the Academy Awards.
Exactly. Oh, I definitely saw that.
Oh, I
movie.
voted for that one. Sure did.
Well, and Jeremy Renner is going to introduce it. So
Yeah. It's
it's
Jeremy
been-
Renner and Mickey Mouse.
Well, Mickey, there's a lot of things we can learn about the soul through animation.
Oh boy, you're fucking hot.
And these shorts really hit the bullseye.
Oh boy, that's terrible. Hope they're paying you.
They are.
Somewhere Bruce Valanche is twisting a script you're butchering it.
Yeah. Ooh, it was perfect before.
It's your delivery. That's the issue.
So he makes himself out of sand and he's like, oh, it's pretty cool. He's not too worried about
But
it.
if he's condensing a bunch of sand together like that, shouldn't he turn into glass?
Yeah,
That's
I
what
mean,
happens to sand.
But also, this is my other question: is what if throughout this movie he's leaving himself all over the place, right? He's punching.
He's dripping
Shouldn't
all
he
over
just
the
be
place.
a ghost? He's basically ripped apart by this.
It's a
sand and
sand ghost.
Yes, a sand ghost.
Because
Yeah.
does he if he doesn't have all of his sand back? Does he not have enough lungs or
That's
something? Does he
really
is he a little
question,
shorter?
right? Exactly.
Because also you're flying around
That's-
Manhattan.
that's
you
the
got
bigger
a bunch
thing,
of fucking
is that
dirt
he-
and bird shit.
All of a sudden is a sandstorm, and he looks like It's like what they did in Green Lantern when they just made him a fart monster.
Yes, yeah.
Like, no longer is it good enough for him just to be a big sand monster. He has to be a flying fucking fart.
I guess you got to get like enough sand that you don't accidentally leave your dick behind or anything like that, right? You got to have like enough sand to be yourself.
I think it's a bump, Eric.
I decide.
I don't think he's going through
Rub
all
my
that.
bum. Hey, ex-wife, rub my bum.
Stacy, get in here and rub my bump. Your parents are coming over soon.
But your hand might go through it.
Oh,
Don't worry about
like the
it.
sand experiment, like annihilated his dick before the sand actually
Annihilated,
fused with his DNA to make him the Sandman. So it's just like you can only regenerate what is there after you become the
that's
sand
sad.
DNA, right?
Oh,
So, yeah,
wow.
So that dick's just gone.
Because he's
dude.
always wearing that T-shirt, so yeah, that
Yeah.
dick's just gone.
Yeah.
And he's always carrying that fucking
He's like,
necklace of his dumb daughter.
oh no, do I save my dick or my T-shirt?
I decided to fight SpiderMan on Orchard Beach, and now I'm manipulating all of these syringes.
That'd be
Go, my minions!
That'd be
Bunch
amazing.
of condoms flying all over
yeah,
the place.
exactly.
Picking dead squirrels and birds out of himself.
Fucking Sandman's resorting to like chemical warfare basically at that
He's
point.
just covered in like wet fucking used diapers. God damn you, Orchard Beach.
Oh, they should have called him Biohazard.
He should have a sidekick, and it's just made of all the red Solo cups left on Orchard Beach.
Right.
Exactly.
Come along, trash can.
My time to shine.
I hate this necklace that he's carrying around with his picture of his daughter. It looks like she fucking died on the Titanic.
It does.
What the fuck? Where did you get this photograph taken?
Fucking Anne Frank's author photo, man. Like, get out of town with this shit.
That's so stupid. It's like when they went on vacation to a fucking Old West exhibit.
So that's the Sandman. Harry eventually, and we meet Eddie Brock because the Sandman's like attacking. By the way, Gwen Stacy's in this movie for no goddamn reason.
And
reason.
when I saw who her father is, I actually I sat up in my seat at home and I was like, okay, now I got to pay attention to this. James
'cause
Cromwell.
James Cromwell,
sighting.
the best.
James Cromwell. So wasted in this fucking movie. He's in it for like 2 seconds.
I would say even Bryce Dallas Howard is wasted in this movie.
Of course she is. She's in like 3 scenes and she has no conclusion to the character.
She's just kind of there, like to wear a tight sweater and like be a rival to Mary Jane, sort of, kind
Right.
of,
My
maybe.
least favorite thing, you turn her into a character right at the end. Because she ends by saying, that's fucked up when he does the whole,
The jazz
scene
ensemble
we'll
thing.
get to.
Right.
Like
Right,
she
before-
actually
yeah.
says something like meaningful, like, I'm sorry, I didn't want to be part of this.
Yeah.
I'm a real person.
Right.
Goodbye from the movie.
Because before that, she is not a real person before that.
But I think that's the thing, Cabin. You hit the nail right on the head. Once a character in these movies becomes a real person, erased from existence.
oh, right.
You gotta
Like they
you're
don't
fucking
belong.
driven to the end of movie
The
time, man.
trick is to be made out of sand.
You know, that would be an interesting like movie. Like we're doing like a Spider-Man type of movie, right? And then we find like a female character because they often aren't real people in these movies.
Definitely not in these three.
And then,
Yeah.
boom, she has like an opinion of her own or whatever, and she becomes a real person. And then it's like through the looking glass. Now she's like in real Manhattan. And now we have like an indie movie for the last 30 minutes.
Oh, that'd be cool. It turns into like a Manhattan set lost in translation.
Right, yeah.
She's all alone. She's looking for everybody. Or
And
she
only
could-
James Cromwell is there, but he's the actor James Cromwell.
Right.
She's like, "Aren't you my dad?" And he's like, "What are you talking about?"
And then he whispers something sensual, and we don't know what it is. We don't know, but we can think.
It's pretty meaningful, whatever it is.
She's like, "Aren't you my dad?" He's like, "What are you talking about? You're 25 and I'm 87 years old. What do I look like to you, fucking Tony Randall?"
So let's have kind of like a little romance and maybe like cook some fucking meat in a boiling pot of water.
Let's go to karaoke and see what
Yeah.
happens.
Go to Katz's.
When looking at James Cromwell as Captain George Stacy, I guess his name is,
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, I was just thinking about Captain Dudley from L.A. Confidential,
Right.
and beating the shit out of fucking
I
Danny
was,
DeVito.
I was waiting for him to go corrupt in this shit.
That would have been
Sorry,
cool.
Spider-Man, it's the city of the angels, and you ain't got any wings. That's a great.
But I've got a web shot in the face.
Exactly. Russell Crowe just beats him to death. What are your powers? Hate.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. Say what you want about those the Andrew Garfield movies. Like, Leary's more of a character as Captain Stacy
But
than this
because
dude.
he's in the movie. Like,
Right,
you got to be
yeah.
in the movie.
He's a part of
That's-
the movie.
Yeah, you want to have a movie there.
It's just astounding to me, though, that and the problem is it doesn't matter because this was at the time, most financially successful Spider-Man movie at the box office. But it's like, does no one look at this shit? This too many cooks situation, too many producers fucking suggesting things to Sam Raimi, and someone has to be like, you know what, man? There's like a fucking bevy of important characters here, and there's no way without making a 6-hour movie that we can give everybody equal time, which these characters all deserve.
They were going to
has-
split it, actually.
They were,
The screenwriter wanted to split it. He's like,
They
oh, it's too
should've.
much shit going on here. Like,
Yeah.
let's split this into 2 movies. Like, yeah, that's a good idea.
And
Right.
then he just couldn't figure out how to end the third movie.
No, the finger thing
Yeah,
means like
also.
we needed we needed one movie, one box office. That's all you get. So yeah, there's a big Spider-Man fight. Gwen Stacy falls out of a building.
This is what I refer to as a Crane 11.
This is a Crane 11, and I got to tell you,
I'm thinking, what's a Crane 11?
Okay, so Gwen Stacy's at a photo shoot.
right?
Yeah, because she's like a model,
I guess.
But she's
Sure.
also
Slash-
in Peter's fucking science class.
Right.
everybody
She's a
could be
model
everything.
scientist. And like a James Bond female. And then the crane comes into the shot, and the guy's like, what's that crane doing in my shot? And then it goes through the building. Then it goes through like 7 other buildings.
Yeah.
And she's falling from the sky, you know. She didn't think she was going to die today. And
No one ever does.
it's, just like on 9/11, man.
Oh wow.
Well, it's obnoxious because, I mean, listen, I've been living in this city for 11 years, okay? There's been
9/11 years?
plenty of fucking crane collapses in my time in
That's
this
true.
town.
That's true.
Because you know what? It's fucking, Manhattan building companies, the fucking cheapest bidder does it.
Dude, one happened today, the day we're recording this episode on 58th Street.
They're falling all the time. And it's never like, this is like, it's not an accident. Someone is fucking, I was like, are we going to cut to a genie somewhere who's like, because this thing.
Robin
is-
Williams.
Resurrecting all these dead bodies.
Because I can see, okay, it fell, whatever.
Oh, I thought it was Sandman, or no, it's not.
No, it's just this guy's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And then this crane is slamming, cutting through this building like a hot knife through butter. It's like, you know what happens when a crane collapses? It fucking falls down one time.
No, cranes cannot melt steel beams.
It's a crane 11. It's a total crane 11.
It's ridiculous. It's blown out of proportion. Crane hits into one building. All right, I'll give you that.
This crane's favorite movie is a Michael Bay Transformers movie.
Yes, this crane might be a Decepticon.
Another reading of Crane 11. You know, Niles, I could rush the cockpit if I wanted.
Oh, dude, man, how about we're dealing with the aftermath? Crane over me.
Man, they tried. They were so serious about that movie. They were so serious about a sad Adam Sandler 9/11 movie.
So he saves her, and they throw him a party, and there's a big dinkus. Like, you get to watch Tobey Maguire kind of dance a little bit, and it's just, we do get the worst Stan Lee cameo of all Marvel movies of all time.
Yep.
This will never be topped. It is the absolute worst.
Because we're trying to say something.
He just looks at him. He's like, well, you know, I guess one man can make a difference. And then he looks at the camera, looks back at Maguire, and he goes, "Nuff said.
Yeah.
Bye, everybody.
Give
Bye,
me-
Steve Ditko. Hey, Ditko, you watching it?
You paying attention down there?
Hey,
Look up.
Ditko, they got HBO down in hell or what?
he's alive.
Not for long.
Oh, man.
Is Steve Ditko's really alive?
Yeah. Hey, Ditko. You see how they're using their costume and you didn't make a fucking cent? I got to dance in this movie.
Yeah, he's alive. He lives under my foot.
So MJ gets fired because she's terrible, and she has to go to a parade for her boyfriend, and she's like, "Oh man, this sucks."
And she gets she shows up, and they're just like, "Oh yeah, we forgot." They're like showing for new people.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we just fired you.
It's a real fucking Fosse move, man.
It would never happen. Like,
Oh, come on, Kevin. I'm sure that's happened before.
No, you have to we
Didn't
there's
tell
a whole
you.
process.
Oops. No.
Well, the actor's equity, something or other,
If
right?
if it's on Broadway, she's an equity actress.
Yeah, she's got like an agent at
Unless
least.
it's like previews and she's fired during previews, maybe.
I mean, whatever. She got fired, right?
yeah.
You know, I mean, but so
She does get
has-
fired.
She has to go to a parade for her boyfriend, who makes out with Gwen Stacy, because everyone she gives him the key to the city, and he's upside down, and everyone in the audience is like, kiss her, kiss her,
And
oh,
he's just
Spider-Man,
like-
kiss her.
He's just like so ready to shoot his webs. And he's
Gotta
like,
give
yeah,
the audience what they want.
give it to
Well,
me. Yeah.
he's hanging
he's, like,
upside down, man.
convincing her.
He's got his webs all over his feet.
Oh yeah, give
He's
it
already
to me.
halfway there.
Oh, give it to me. Yeah. Oh yeah. Just take my. Oh, just a little bit. Take my mask off a little bit.
I should be raining. Somebody get a hose and weight us down.
Obviously, it's reminiscent of the kiss in the first movie,
Right.
And Mary Jane's like, man, this day fucking sucks.
Totally. And she starts running out, and Franco's there, at Harry Osborn. He's just like, oh, MJ, what's going on? And she has to be like, oh, nothing. I'm fine. I'm so happy for my boyfriend. I mean, I like Spider-Man. Also, what are you doing here, MJ? Why are grown adults attending this thing?
Yeah, it's for kids.
That's true.
Also, no one gets the key to the city.
No, I ruined a parade once when I was
Oh, and it's thematically appropriate.
Yes,
exactly.
Here we go.
I don't know if
Proceed.
have I ever told the story on the air?
I don't think
I don't
so.
think so.
So I was I was lucky enough about 3 years ago.
sounds
I was
right.
lucky enough to be to hold the arm of Spider-Man at the Thanksgiving Day Macy's parade.
Right, the balloon.
The balloon,
The
yeah.
Spider-Man balloon.
I was
You
on
didn't
the,
escort him there.
and the way it works is no, I didn't.
Come along now, Spider-Man. Whoa, whoa, whoa. We're crossing the street now, Spider-Man. Look both ways.
I'm gonna hold your arm while we do it.
No, so and there's two people on the legs, and there's 12 people, but I've got the arm, and I think I've got the spidery arm, the web
that's
shooter
right.
there.
Yeah.
Come
And
on.
it was an unusually blustery day, and I mean and you're on 82nd Street and Fifth Avenue or whatever the hell you're on up there. I don't know how. I live in New York.
What?
I've lived.
Was it's at some point it's like Herald Square. It goes up to the park, right?
Yeah, it goes. But you start really high up. No, I think you're at Columbus Circle. I'm sorry.
okay, yeah.
You're at Columbus Circle. I don't know.
Going down
geography.
Broadway.
You're going down Broadway.
Do they
and-
not prepare you for a windy day?
Oh
or-
no, they do, but they don't say about how the wind. And we all thought it was going to get canceled. The
Okay.
second I move 3 steps, this arm goes into a tree line and gets cut right in half, and his arm just starts dangling.
You killed
I
Spider-Man.
did. And they were very politely like, "Oh, it's fine, it's fine. By the way, hey, why don't you just stop holding this now, and you could just stand in the front."
So wait,
This is a professional. He's gonna take it from here.
We've got
wait,
Rick.
So the arm went limp, and then they just said, "No, you go and you just walk in the front like a you get a trophy for showing up."
Exactly.
At that point, he just became a mighty Marvelite.
I did, and I was like, "Yay, it's fun!" I was pumping up the crowd. I got on TV.
And this was where my life became the most like a Seinfeld episode at this point, because we were watching this.
Yeah, because I
Yeah.
told everybody, obviously.
Yeah. Oh,
Okay,
God.
okay.
It was a
You
big
didn't
event that day.
You didn't hear the end of it. Steve's going to be in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. It's a real, it's a big deal.
Yeah, sure.
And we're just watching it. And it's like, well, it appears Spider-Man's arm is having a problem. I don't remember if we were watching it, if we were maybe in the car driving up, but it was oh, Spider-Man's arm. Oh, something's going wrong. And I remember turning to my wife and we just went, Steve. And then it turned out to be true.
It was a
turned
real
out to be totally true.
True story, man. That thing. I mean,
Well, they can't sue you now, right?
No,
Now
it's
that you've
fine.
admitted this on the air.
Yeah, exactly. It's all fine. I mean,
The, Macy's Corporation's not.
those
gonna break
things are
your legs.
dingy up front, man. Those balloons,
Yeah.
they've
I
been
bet.
used. They get they get
They
hosed
put
down.
They put that shit in like a toilet on Staten Island for the fucking
They're using,
whole
tape.
year.
It's actually, it was a real wake up call, because we went, you can do this. It's kind of become a big thing now because, listen, if you're in the city on Thanksgiving and you go to the parade, you're a fucking maniac.
Mhm.
But there's a cool tradition that they have that's kind of too popular now, so it's almost ruined at this point.
Yeah, I did this as a kid.
Yeah, the balloon blow up.
Yeah.
And so we went to the balloon blow up a couple years ago. And it's pretty cool because you go into Central Park and they're blowing up all the balloons. You get to look at them really up close and
Yeah.
everything. there's so many patches on these things.
Oh, yeah, dude.
That you're just like, this shit is held together with like spit and a prayer.
And you
I
can't
mean-
tell on TV because it's like another pixel.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, and Eric's right. They say they put them all at the end of when it's all over. They put in a big inflatable toilet.
Yeah, it's very true. And then everyone uses the toilet. But I will say, being in New York City on Thanksgiving is amazing.
It's
And
awesome.
As long as you don't go to the parade,
Yes.
it is incredible.
It's like the end of Vanilla Sky, man.
Exactly.
It
No
is.
one is there,
Yeah.
and nothing's open, pretty much.
Yeah.
But it's still awesome.
Yeah.
It's
I love
amazing.
that.
I fucking love that. The night before is great. Christmas Day is the same thing. Oh, it's a fucking ghost
Christmas
town.
Day is great.
If you happen to walk around Times Square at like 10 o'clock in the morning, or let's call it 8 o'clock in the morning on New Year's Day, that's some eerie shit, man.
Oh yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
You would have thought it. You're Vanilla Sky and all over the place.
You know who's a gift in all three of these movies?
Who's that?
Is J.K. Simmons.
Oh yeah, yes.
Big time.
I mean, he's
As-
ruined that role. Like they still have not recast it.
Why not
right.
just, you know what? I know, whatever. Just bring him back.
Sure.
Just bring him back.
Because
Who
no one
cares?
is going to be able to do that.
Or-
I mean, that guy was born for that.
Just don't do it as the character. Like,
Yeah.
make it a different character.
No,
Like,
it's got to be JJ.
Yeah.
I mean, but
I agree
like,
with Steve
what's
here.
his? The Perry White isn't like the same character every single time.
Character? Perry White's Perry White.
Are
In,
you
like,
talking
the
about
movies.
because like Larry Fishburne plays him in those new ones?
No. But like in every, I mean, we've seen like what 5 versions of him at this point.
Well, oh no, yeah, they're different actors. You mean?
But and they all have a different like.
Oh, they do a
different-
I see what you're
different
saying.
take on
a different
the
take. I'm
character.
sorry, I was confused.
Like J. Jonah James, he's doing exactly what the cartoon. and
Yes,
the- and
you
the-
can find a different way to
You
do
can
that.
do a different version of him.
Yeah, I
Right.
buy that. Like, yeah, exactly. It doesn't have to be so big and blusterous, kind of a thing.
I don't know that I buy J.K. as this fucking Jim Gordon coming
This
up.
Jack Gordon they got going on. He is like fucking buff in this movie.
Because everyone has to be buff.
Yeah.
You have to be so fucking buff to be in
You have
those
to know
Zack Snyder movies.
P90X backwards forwards.
God, it's so stupid.
Elizabeth Banks is good in these scenes.
Oh, right. She's like his assistant.
Betty Brant.
I
Betsy-
totally
Betsy
forgot
Brant,
she
yes.
was in these movies.
Yes, you will forget that.
Yeah.
Because she's a different haircut. and she's
Exactly.
like,
Yeah.
Different
It's always
hair
like a
color.
Yes.
Speaking of different hair colors, we'll get to it.
and fucking R.I.P. Bill Nunn.
Bill Nunn as Robbie Robertson.
God, you.
And Ted Raimi as the director's brother.
Yep.
He plays that in all those movies.
He really does.
I mean, honestly, though, dude, like, and Bruce Campbell as the director's friend.
Yeah.
Well, I read somewhere that Ted Raimi plays Hoffman. I'm like, give me a fucking break. He plays Ted Raimi. That is Ted
Hoffman?
Raimi. Hoffman is the
I will
character's
say,
name.
I love Army of Darkness. I love those Evil Dead movies, and I love Ted Raimi in those movies as well. He plays multiple roles.
He's
It's
fun. I'm
but
sure if you met Ted
it's-
Raimi, he's a blast.
Yeah. I God willing, I will get to there. I will get to that point.
That's a high watermark for you.
It would be.
It would
But
be.
it's
be
just
like-
another moment to waste time with bad comedy.
Well, no, this is where we start getting into Topher Grace. Topher Grace shows up. He's like,
Right.
hi, by the way, I'm in this movie. I'm Eddie Brock. I have really bad early 2000s blonde hair.
That haircut, those fucking frosted tips, ooh, you want to throw right up.
you really do. I
He
mean,
looks like a
98
fucking singer, and
degrees.
yeah, one of them there. I was gonna say LFO.
Oh, yes.
Same shit.
because, Eddie Brock is a blonde, but if you're not going to cast a blonde, don't just...
Exactly.
We've learned
Thank
this from the
you,
Fantastic
Steve.
Four
Thank
movies.
you for bringing up this again. They're robbing from a blonde actor.
But if you're
Robbing.
not going to get a blonde actor, almost nobody
Just-
looks good with fake
Yes,
blonde hair.
just fucking give him brown hair. Who cares?
Exactly.
The internet.
Steve, does the internet care?
The internet. When me and Andrew saw Spider-Man: Homecoming the other day, the guy behind me, as the movie was ending, was just went to his friend. I swear to God, he said this. He was like, "Oh man, I can't believe they changed Mary Jane's race." And I was like, "What?
Whoa, wait,
We're
what?
in New York City, friend."
Oh my god.
Yeah, it was pretty outrageous. Speaking of which, by the way, Spider-Man: Homecoming on screen coming soon to an RSS feed near you.
If it hasn't dropped already,
Yeah, you never know.
you do never know. So Eddie Brock, there's a staff job at the Daily Bugle, which I mean, it is kind of fucked up that Peter
So
Parker's
fucked
been like
up.
licking J. Jonah Jameson's bunghole for 3 movies, and then it's like, I don't know, this other kid's got blonde hair, so sure.
Yep. Yeah, no, it's a real problem. Peter Parker has a great point here. Bill Nunn stands up for him, which is nice.
But there's a thing where basically, like, the first person to give me a picture of Spider-Man doing something illegal will the first person to give me the P-tape gets the job at the Washington Post, essentially.
Well, no, the thing it is, Steve, see, why that doesn't work is because J. Jonah Jameson is asking for something that doesn't exist.
Oh, I see. So yeah, the first person to get that is going to do it, and like Brock is like, "Bye, movie. I'll see you later."
Yeah, you know what makes for like exciting movie watching is competitive photography.
Yeah.
Pretty great.
It's a rare subject. You don't see it often.
That's true. There's a reason for that. So this is where we get into the Venom juice comes out of the fucking
The Rock.
It's like an airplane toilet gets flushed and suddenly Venom juice falls on
a
them.
tiny baseball of a comet hits Central Park, and the little fucking
Venom thing
comes out and makes a V.
Does it?
On the end of his little motor scooter.
Yeah.
I missed
fucking
that.
die.
I'm Venom.
That sucks.
Get it?
And I mean, like, you know what? Maybe if we're gonna introduce aliens into a franchise that doesn't have aliens,
Wait.
5 minutes?
Wait,
Maybe
wait,
5 minutes? Can
So,
we get 5 minutes?
Can you tell me what Venom really is? Is it an alien?
It is an alien. It's an alien that was introduced in the 80s. It was part of Spider-Man gets a new suit in something called the Secret Wars. Actually, the funny thing, I was reading about this today. Some reader wrote Marvel Comics. Was like, you know what would be a cool idea? And came up with the idea of the symbiote costume. And like, hey, cool. We'll give you $250 for that idea.
Oh, wow.
And this dude got a
shit.
check for $250, and then like 20 years later, I got to see fucking Topher Grace in his costume.
Oh, that sucks.
But yeah, so basically, it's a thing from outer space that it's very much this. It's like it bonds to you, it makes you evil.
Right.
He wears it, he stops wearing it, then Eddie Brock wears it, it makes him even more evil, and that's kind of the thing.
But does do the comics explain why?
It explains a lot of things, but this movie doesn't.
But like, you know, like Peter Parker has it, and it's like, oh, I just have this like admittedly pretty dope looking black costume.
That black costume
Yeah,
is an
I
A+.
like it. Yeah.
It's
A+.
fucking great. But he's still just like farting around as shitty old Peter Parker. He's just like shittier. Why though does it turn Eddie Brock into a fucking goblin monster? The fucking teeth on this
See,
guy
I thought
in and out of mask.
Well, the teeth that's a fake.
That's canon, right? No.
No, the teeth in the mask, yes.
Yeah.
But when he takes it off, he's just got regular Eddie Brock face.
Really?
He doesn't have
In
like
the
weird.
comics?
No, he does have
I-
weird teeth.
Oh,
if
does he
you
really?
look.
Okay, yeah.
In the book?
No,
no,
in
that's
the
just
movie.
Topher Grace.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Topher Grace's weird teeth.
He has weird teeth when
In
he
real
comes
life,
out
too.
of the Venom.
Well, no, he does. He has like the stupid vampire teeth.
But like his teeth as Venom and his eyes are like clearly alien.
Yeah.
Right? So I feel like when this alien merges with Eddie Brock, boom, that's just a new thing, and you don't go back and forth.
yeah,
I mean, for consistency's sake.
Also, who was going to be pissed off that you didn't get to look at Topher Grace?
that's the question.
Well,
Nobody.
And they really wouldn't have cared if you do Venom right. If it actually looks like Venom looks.
Well, exactly. I mean, and actually, the Venom thing doesn't look that bad when he's the 39 seconds that you actually get the Venom look.
Yeah.
But yeah, so often it's like, let me reveal my Topher Grace face. Like, yeah, that
God.
Venom is
Oh
80.
my God, I don't know what's scarier.
99% of the appeal of Venom is the look. Like that is
Sure.
99 to 100% of the
Exactly.
appeal of the character.
And this guy had one hit TV show, and then he was in Good Company with Dennis Quaid and Scarlett Johansson. Who the fuck cares that you can't see Topher Grace in this movie?
Exactly. He's doing the voice. He's getting a check. He doesn't give a shit.
And we had
totally.
a bunch of fucking Eddie Brock at the midpoint. So who gives like just
you already wasted my time.
You could
Don't
do-
waste more of it, I swear.
do a fucking voice, get in the booth, and get out of the movie.
And again, that's what Deadpool gets right. It's like, this is what people like about the character. They like the mask. They like the look. So that's
Right.
what the whole movie's going to be.
Well, because you certainly don't want to look at Ryan Reynolds with that fucked up face in that movie.
Yeah,
though.
yeah, it's
So
pretty
there's
gross.
that.
But
There's
so Eddie Brock is doing what he's doing. James Franco comes out of his amnesia. Mary Jane is kind of pissed at Spider-Man for making out with Gwen Stacy at the parade. They have a very awkward dinner scene where he's going to propose. Bruce Campbell is there doing French stuff. Some
That's
people in
fun.
this room like it. Some people don't.
I think it's one of the worst things I've ever seen.
It's really
I
bad.
think it's fantastic.
Oh
and
my
I
God.
love Bruce Campbell.
It's.
but yeah,
I mean, you know, if it was in something else,
Yeah.
sure. In the
Right.
middle of a fucking already
hold-
terrible
hold on.
Spider-Man movie.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, I guess this is the point. This is when it really starts to nosedive.
Yeah.
yes,
And
Yeah.
after this is when we get Peter Parker as
Venom. guy.
emo
right.
Parker.
He gets his hair dyed black and he
It's
starts
like a brand new kid.
acting like a fucking asshole.
Looks like fucking Taking Back Spider-Man.
It's just good Spider-Man or
But, like,
Spider-Man Charlotte.
the-
My Chemical Spider-Man.
All Spider-Man rejects.
Saves the Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he looks like garbage. My thing also about here's why the Bruce Campbell things are terrible. I think they get perpetually worse. This one is the fucking longest. Think about that first movie where he's just like the wrestling
that's the
promoter,
best one,
and
yeah.
it's like get him out there. You're in and out.
I like him in number 2, man. He's making me laugh at number 2.
I like this one better than
Oh,
number
wow.
2.
All right.
I don't know why. I guess it is so criminally stupid that it makes me laugh. It's just like
Remind me what 2 is.
he's
the usher. He's like
Usher?
the usher.
Oh,
came
at the
into
theater.
business.
Oh, that's
long.
long as shit too.
It is
God
long.
damn it!
It is long.
These cameos need to be one beat. It's a fucking cameo. And in this one though, this is the longest. He's part of this scene. He's like doing all these gags with this army of waiters. It is obnoxious. I hate it so much.
because I think he gets to be Bruce Campbell in the second one.
Yeah.
This one, he's a stupid character, and,
Frenchy
it-
Franz.
and it's
Right.
a crappy
You-
stereotype to begin with.
Yeah.
and you already know the joke. So even before he says a word,
you
you
are,
know the whole joke.
you are Abe Froman, the Sausage King of Chicago.
So yeah, I mean, like, and then Gwen Stacy comes up in a restaurant. First of all, you never approach anyone in a restaurant if they're just having a dinner. And I'm like, oh hey, let's catch up. Like,
No,
I'm
that happens, man.
it should not.
It's a
It
dark
sh-
timeline we live in where that
it
happens.
should not.
I approached one time at a restaurant.
You got approached, or you initiated
I
the
approached.
approach?
Well, here's the deal, and so it was a tough call because we were at. It was a restaurant in Astoria. We were in the back garden area that was very small.
A garden is a little open too there. Yeah.
Very small though. There's no way the other person didn't see me. So in my head, and this was like a guy, he's like a colleague. He's
Yeah.
older than me. He's got a great job.
Sure.
And so I was like, if I don't say hi, it's a snub.
Sure.
He walked into this restaurant and definitely saw it was like you're in like a 6x12 garden.
You give the
space.
wave like,
Yeah, it sucked.
and you run into him if you run into him in the bathroom, like, oh hey, I didn't want to interrupt. How's it going? Blah,
or
blah, blah.
next time you see him, like, oh hey, didn't I see you at the
Exactly.
blah blah?
You never want to go up to somebody, stop their dinner,
Okay.
because and especially a couple, like you don't know what they're talking
Yeah,
about. This time
so-
they might be fighting about you in this instance.
Steve, I want to
even
hear
worse.
this. Oh shit! They were
Even worse
cursing your
because it
name.
was like a new lady friend
Oh, no.
after a divorce that wasn't
like-
quite finalized.
Oh, gee, what are you doing?
I didn't
dude.
fucking know.
You ruined this. That
No.
dude.
Because
oh
then
my
you have to like
God.
introduce her as
Okay.
something.
So what happened?
This is yeah.
Angled.
It was like
Dude,
successfully
you
angled.
pull that fucking off?
it was like this is my friend Barbara or whatever, you know, and
Yeah,
I
yeah.
could just tell like, oh fuck.
Yep, for sure.
I remembered after the fact. I was like, oh yeah, that's not what his wife looked like.
She's 25 years younger. That's weird.
But I mean, Gwen Stacy is also being very inappropriate here. She's like fucking fondling his shoulder and whatnot.
It's just like, I'm ruining your night. He's like, thanks for ruining my night. And then
He's so fucking cool. He doesn't get it.
yeah, he's just like,
Because
oh,
he's
she's
a
great.
baby.
Yeah, he's,
Oh,
He's
yeah,
a baby.
Because when Mary Jane calls him on it, he's just like, that's just a girl from my class.
Yes, my class. I wasn't flirting with her.
MJ, you're you, and that's just a girl I know. Like, fuck you, Muppet baby.
yeah, exactly. That's what she should say. And then the way it's weird because he's being like, oh, yuck, and she's like in a Sofia Coppola movie, not for. It's like, crying. It's like, you ruined this for me. I'll never forget this. And it's like,
And none of that matters because then we do a rack focus and Bruce Campbell's fucking juggling champagne flutes in the background. It's all so terrible.
4 Zootalores later.
I hate it so much.
So
Hated it for 10 years.
he finds out that Flint Marko killed his dad, or his uncle, I'm sorry, and he gets filled with rage. He goes to sleep, and whoops, he wakes up in the black costume, which gives him more powers. As that's consistent, you know?
Right.
And it does look great. You know,
It looks great. It looks
it's a great looking costume.
Did we mention, by the way, that the thing that makes, or I guess like gets the ball rolling on Harry ditching that amnesia is a really fun omelet making scene set to the twist?
Let's get together and dance to music that happened 40 years before we were born. That's a great idea.
Well, that happens a lot,
I
right?
guess
Come
so.
on.
But
right?
Big Chill happens all the time.
There's a big Jill happening right this second. Somewhere in the world, someone is big chilling. Let's twist again like we did last year.
It is so obnoxiously and embarrassing.
It's just like I can't, they must have been making so much money that they're just like, just dance to this song. Just dance to this fucking song. Cutely make an omelet. James Franco's gonna drop it on the floor.
In his defense, he has amnesia. He could think this song's new.
And somewhere Thomas Haden Church is like, hey, Sam, could there be a scene where I twist? Could I be in the movie too?
Yeah, you'll twist around his sand, okay? Now moving along.
You'll be a sand monster when you do it, so we don't need you.
It'll be to a useless Danny Elfman score that kind of takes everyone out of the movie.
It'll go like this.
You like that? You want to move to that?
I will say this though. So we didn't mention this up top, but I think I was the only one that watched this editor's cut.
Yeah.
The Elfman score is gone.
Well, no, there is no Elfman score. That's what I was going to stop somebody's tweet. Elfman
fuck.
did the first two. Some other guy
it's
did
a different
this.
guy,
It's
right?
a different guy.
It was a different guy for both cuts.
Oh, I think it's the same. I imagine it's the same
It's
score.
the same score.
I imagine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does it not sound exactly like a Danny Elfman?
It does.
score?
No, the guy
No,
is
it's-
doing a
it's-
Danny
it's-
Elfman.
Which is it's worse.
James Newton Boward or something.
So he fights the Sandman as Dark Venom or whatever the fuck, and like he's a little more evil. And like, hey, guess what? If your weakness is water, you're not a supervillain. You're just a villain. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're just.
Take that, Bruce Willis.
Well, that's why they add the stupid fucking Uncle Ben shit, is to make him like a more meaningful character. He's just a bank robber in the comics.
He's always even in this movie, he's always walking with money under, like a sack of money that he just procured illegally.
Which is cool if you want to like keep it low level like that, but then he can't turn into a 12-story monster
Yes.
at the end of this whole
Like,
thing.
how can you start taking on more and more sand? Wouldn't you lose yourself and just become a puddle at some point?
Well, how does he reconstitute himself once the water washes him away?
Right, once he goes down the sewer drain
This is-
to the mystery place where all the fucking Macy's Day balloons are stored.
That's what, yeah, they go down. It's a magic New York City tunnel that we have. We keep the balloons down there.
Yeah.
All the subways. If you get down to the bottom level, you can see them all crisscrossing above you.
Splinter
And a-
lives down there.
and a place for sand to dry. Clearly, some.
Oh man, it's taking me a while to clump all this shit out of my body.
Yeah, totally.
Oh
All
man.
these dead homeless people. The Chuds. My
dude.
God, the
No,
Chuds.
I need a scene where Thomas Haden Church is half sand and he's kind of just like working turds out of his body. Like suddenly he's like fucking shitting out of his chest.
He's picking them out like Logan picking out pieces of glass.
Exactly.
Yes, exactly. Oh, that'd
Oh
be
man,
great.
have you ever tried to like find a dime in a stack of pennies? It's just you got to sift through it, man.
You know what I
You
just-
got to sift through my nipples.
You know what I just realized is both the dudes from Sideways ended up as Spider-Man villains.
That's
Oh
absolutely
wow,
true.
that's
Wow,
right.
that's
Oh man,
fucking-
that fucking rhino. That's embarrassing.
That's crazy.
That's bad.
Hey Paul, I win again. You were worse.
Fucking son of a bitch. He did it again.
I wasn't even nominated for an Oscar, and he gets to be the Sandman. I gotta be a fucking rhino in a goddamn Power Ranger costume.
Well, since Rhino happened after, though, you think he was like, yeah, I'll be a fucking Rhino. Yeah, that's a huge one. Yeah, you did it, Peachy. You're going to beat that fucking son of a bitch. And then they're like, well, you're actually just like this Russian slob in an Adidas jumpsuit who are going to put in a mech suit. Oh.
And I was directed by Sam Raimi. You were directed by Mark what's his whip? Where
but you were
is that
direct-
real?
You were
Is that
directed
real,
by a
Paul?
guy who got fucking hired because it would have been a pun.
Yeah, well, I didn't play Matt Damon's brother, and we bought a zoo. Bye! And he kind of runs out of the restaurant. Paul, I'm not paying. Oh, Paul.
You were in San Andreas, though.
He sure was.
He chases him into the parking lot. They're driving alongside each other. He's like, big fat liar. You'll never win, you bald fuck.
Divorce! You were in Divorce! Nobody watched it.
Everybody watches Billions.
Oh, man, Stacy. So like he washes away like so much shit, and there like the weird thing is, so like now Harry's doing his Machiavellian scheme because he realizes that he's evil again, and he blackmails MJ into breaking up with Peter, and I'm using air quotes because this sort of happens off screen, but you know it's happening, and then like she breaks up with him on a bridge. And he's like, "Oh, but I bought you this. I stole Aunt May's wedding ring. Like, what gram for a dream? I hocked that old bitch's TV.
She keeps thinking that the refrigerator's gonna eat her. I don't know what to do.
Oh, Peter's coming with Mary Jane, and I'm gonna be on television.
Oh, does this bus go to Madison Avenue? Come along, dead husband of mine.
Oh man."
Oh, I hate it.
But so she breaks up with him, and then like Harry like tenses his fingers. But then like how does she, like what is the blackmail? Is she like always in danger? Because wouldn't she like just I'll call you in a minute. We have to pretend we're broken up. By the way, Harry's the Green Goblin again.
Exactly. Say all of this shit.
I think she's wired.
Oh, she's wired for sound, huh?
Not really. I honestly, like, I was probably like not paying attention, and I was just like, "Oh, good, she's finally breaking up with him."
Because it's
Thank
the most.
God.
It is the most. It's just so desperate. Like she's like, we have to stop this.
Yeah.
I was gonna marry
Oh,
you.
you
And he's
can't
like,
bring that
"Come
ring
on."
out.
Dude,
Are you
he's
fucking kidding
on.
me?
He's crying. He's doing the like, I know I've been selfish, but I can change. People have problems. And they're just like both bawling. And I was like, I purchased a ticket to a movie in where I want a cartoon to fly around skyscrapers with webbing.
I purchased a ticket for a movie where Thomas Haden Church turns to sand. Where's that shit? I would take
So
that
did
over
I.
that.
I would love to know.
Hey, speaking of him getting wet and turning into sand, this producer's cut or editor's cut business tosses back in a deleted scene that you schlubs missed.
Oh, yeah?
And it is about as useless as a scene
Are
you
you-
could get.
Are you talking about the sandcastle?
Yep. So cut to a park somewhere in Brooklyn, and you see they're like right on the water, and it's the ex-wife and the sickly daughter. I guess she's getting some outside time before she's got to go back in the bubble. And it's like, your dad, he's a loser. Never forget that, or whatever it is. And she's like, now we have to go. And like the girl like starts walking, and you see what she's looking at, and it's this big sandcastle, this big beautiful sandcastle.
Oh, wow.
And she goes up to this sandcastle, and she's looking at it, and she fucking puts her hand up and touches this sandcastle, and boy oh boy, doesn't a sand hand imprint come out.
What a nightmare. I didn't see this.
And she smiles and kind of like hugs this sandcastle.
No.
And then the wife's like, all right, we got to go. And she turns around to like walk back to the mom. And then she gets one last look, and the sandcastle's gone.
Oh, wow.
Mommy, I met a Sumerian demon.
Why would you put that in a movie?
It's terrifying.
That is creepy as
Some
fuck. You're gonna give that
scenes-
little weak girl a heart attack.
Exactly. Some scenes are meant to stay deleted.
Absolutely. And so like Harry starts like amping up the fuckery here, and like basically
Yeah.
Black Spider-Man fights Harry and blows his face right off, which is pretty fun.
Yeah, and what's great actually about this editor's cut that I enjoy is I guess this editor was doing some flip-flopping, and he changes he or she, whoever cut this movie, changes the order of some of the scenes. So they have this fight where Peter throws a goblin grenade at Harry and blows his fucking face out, like thinking he murdered him.
Yes.
Yeah.
It then cuts to the strutting.
Oh,
So
really?
it looks like he's walking around like, I just fucking killed that guy. Oh, well, he's fucking dead.
I mean, that's kind of the progress. I mean, like, there's more between that, but like to cut right to that is kind of fun.
it's pretty fucking funny.
So he's like, oh, I killed him. The weird thing is, like, it's not like he's always wearing the costume, but it's underneath. Usually, like the Venom thing, like you can make your own clothes. It's kind of like being
is that right?
a shapeshifter.
Oh, shit.
But
He's got to go into some like Soho boutique store and buy all
Yeah,
this like black clothing and whatnot.
he ruins Eddie Brock's career because Eddie Brock photoshops Spider-Man robbing a bank or something.
But also, fuck Eddie Brock.
Yeah, of
I
course.
mean, like,
Honestly.
Eddie Brock acts like he's such a victim after this.
Yeah, fuck that
Fucking
dude.
piece of
He
shit.
fucking shattered glass. Like, come
Exactly. You
on.
can't shatter glass.
No, man.
He the Daily Bugle, by the way, the notoriously cheap Daily Bugle throws a champagne party for the new photographer. My ass.
Yeah, you know what? Did we check on that though? Are you sure it's not just like sparkling apple cider?
Unlike maybe Eddie Brock bought it from home.
Oh, that could be. Yeah.
So they're having this party, and like one of my favorite lines of this movie is Peter goes up to Brock. He's like, "You're trash, Brock." You're trash.
It's true.
It's true. And then like he outs him that he photoshopped it. They fire him. He's humiliated because the Bugle publishes a retraction with his face on the front page. What a fuck you.
Yeah, you'll never work in this town again. And what's funny is the most disappointed person in that office is Bill Nunn.
Yeah.
He's the one that's like, come on, Brock. Even though he's always fought for Peter Parker in all of these
Yes.
movies, Bill Nunn is playing it like so let down. It's like finding out your kid killed someone over drugs.
Or that.
That's the level that he's got it at, man.
So Peter is real. We get the strutting, we get the disco. He's
dancing.
literally just dancing in the street, and you're checking your.
Oh,
I almost walked out. I remember being in the theater.
Checking your what? Oh no, you're checking him out because every babe on the street wants a slice of that. What world
But
is
it
this?
doesn't make it doesn't make sense though, because when I noticed watching it this time, when he's walking and he's dancing, he's fucking pointing at ladies and stuff. When the camera is behind him and you see the women's reactions, they're all looking like, who's that fucking idiot?
Yeah.
So the gag, which is actually mildly amusing, is like he thinks he's being cool, and all these people are like, look at this fucking bonehead. But then when
Yeah.
it cuts and you see him head on, then they're turning around and looking like, say. And I was like, what changed from 6 feet ago when these other people were like, look at this moron?
If we're gonna play with Venom vision, we really just need a lot
One-
more
Give
happening.
me a filter or something.
Yeah, something's got to happen here.
Is this full on Pussy Posse Maguire? We're thinking.
That's
like
what-
that's what he's drawing on.
Yeah.
His experiences in the Pussy
Do you
Posse.
think these were some of his secret moves?
Just think
about your days hanging out with Leo. Do it.
Can David Blaine be in this movie? Could he play Mysterio? No, he cannot.
I'm just gonna dance in front of this doorway. Sexy.
So what happens now? Do the cartoons fight each other?
No, now we have the jazz clips.
Oh,
So Mary
Well,
Jane's
'cause
been
it-
unemployed, right?
Everyone
right
is
after. Sorry, never mind. Go on.
everyone is cringing in their seat from that. Like, oh my god, is the strutting over? Is it okay? Can maybe the rest of the movie's good? Samuel would look kind of cool. I don't know. And the Green Goblin's dead, so maybe this movie. And Venom hasn't shown up yet, so maybe it's gonna get good now.
God damn
And
it.
no, we go to this jazz club. He brings Gwen Stacy. Like, oh, Gwen Stacy, hey, how you doing? Welcome back. And she's like, wow, this is cool. And she's like, hey, is that your ex-girlfriend? Do you want to go?
No.
And he goes, no, it's cool.
Mm-hmm. This is the scene that inspired La La Land.
Pro tip. If a guy brings you to a restaurant wherein his ex-girlfriend is working and she goes, oh, isn't that your ex-girlfriend? Do you want to go? If the answer is anything but, oh my God, let's go. You have to leave immediately.
Yes.
Like, this is a
exactly.
creep
This is-
situation.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Fake
it's
phone
just like,
call.
walk out.
Fake phone call right as soon as
Oh,
possible.
oh man, oh I forgot. Yeah. Oh, ooh, hello. What's that? Gotta go because this is now I'm being shown off for. I'm in some kind of sex. I'm either
This
in a
is
sex
like a
game or
loop.
revenge game or both, maybe.
It's a lunatic's game, and you do not want to purchase a ticket to that.
So yeah, MJ is like singing in a club, and Spider-Man starts playing the piano, and I'm like, where is he learning the piano? This poor kid from Queens.
It's so dumb.
Aliens.
Oh, the alien.
the aliens
The
are very
alien did
proficient.
everything. The whole thing.
The Cenobite or whatever the fuck.
Well, we never
knew how to play the
You
piano.
know what? We never explained it, so yeah, I can do whatever.
Oh,
Fuck it.
Dylan Baker's trying. Dylan Baker keeps calling the movie, and he's like, "Hey guys, hey, by the way, so you got this symbiote on you, right?" And I'm
God.
like, "Dude, just don't."
What
He's
is going
trying
on?
so hard to be in this
But
movie.
like, what? Like, that's the thing is like, this cast is so big. Like, Dylan Baker should be the first to get cut.
Yes, yeah.
Just
I mean,
cut him out wholesale.
get him in the
Especially-
third movie, and like, oh, now Kirk Connors is the lizard. Cool.
Exactly. You've been teasing this villain by just having him exist in these movies. Like, come on. What are you fucking waiting for? What's also embarrassing, by the way, in this jazz club is like, so Mary Jane is working there as a waitress because she got fired from Broadway, which also they act like it's the fucking most outrageous thing in the world that a working actor in New York City would have to slum it as a waiter.
And she's 20 years old. Like the fact that she was on Broadway at all is a huge
You
achievement.
could walk on any TV guest spot, probably.
Exactly.
Exactly.
From what we've seen of her career so far, she was in The Importance of Being Earnest on Broadway. She had a fucking perfume billboard, and she got fired from this fucking Gold Diggers of 1933 or whatever this musical was. So she's waiting tables. What? That's the life, baby. You're not
that's what
fucking Meryl Streep.
That's what you do.
Get back to hitting those tables.
Also, have you seen this apartment of hers?
Yeah, it's
This
yeah.
beautiful fucking apartment of hers.
Totally.
So,
But so what's humiliating though, Steve, is this fucking jazz band is like, come on up here, Mary Jane, you do the next one. And she's got like a tray of glasses. And I was like, no, she's bussing that table. You keep singing. That's what you're getting paid to do. And she's getting paid to fucking bust that table.
someone who ordered chicken fingers is just drumming the fucking table. Like,
Exactly
I guess
right.
That's going to be a while now.
Exactly
I guess
right,
that's
because
gonna be
she's
wild.
got to fucking get up there and sing as time goes by. I'm waiting for my fucking chicken fingers.
No, she had to put it in at least.
Did she talk to the cook?
Did you see? Because I was expecting a Zucker Brothers gag where she throws all the glasses
Wait.
and everyone gets a face full of shards.
Can we just like put down a few 20s and go? Like, I don't think we're gonna get the check for a while.
Yeah, the waitress is singing. They're understaffed as it is. I cannot believe this place.
How many Coronas did you have? Did you have 3 or 4? Okay.
That's, but I think that's a fine walkout though. If your fucking service person starts just singing and dancing, like no. This isn't fucking Johnny Rockets. I'm out of here. I'm fucking.
Is that
out.
what they do with Johnny Rockets?
Creamery.
I'm actually. I am
Johnny
act-
Rockets. They fucking
They fucking
dance.
sing and dance.
I don't know if they do it anymore, but
They do.
There's that place in the city. What is that? That fucking shitty diner on like 50th and
Oh, that old school.
Oh, Johnny
diner.
Rockets?
No, it's like the Stairway Diner. It's like, hey, look at all these people that want to be on Broadway. They're going to sing when they bring your
Oh,
order.
yes.
And the line
Okay.
of tourists are down the block.
Oh, right.
every
That's the
day.
worst thing in the world.
Yeah.
I call those
never-
restaurants places where my dad would commit public suicide.
Yeah, me
So-
too.
Gwen Stacy leaves. She's like, "This is no. I'm
Yeah.
not being in your erotic thriller right now. Goodbye, movie."
Well, after 5 minutes of him gyrating to whatever fucking.
Oh, he's just
Well, this
dancing. He's jumping on
escalates
tables.
To the point of like, he's like demanding to talk to her after this fucking number
Oh.
he does. And then like this dude's like, hey buddy, is there a problem? The bouncer comes over and he starts murdering this guy. And Mary Jane tries to pull him off and he smacks her across the face.
It's
Oh,
like
yeah.
this should stop the movie dead.
This-
Five
you
across
know what?
the eyes.
How about this? This doesn't belong in a Spider-Man movie.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it is no business being in any of these movies. And if that's the thing, like they never, spoiler alert, they never talk about it. She's like,
Yeah.
what happened to you? He's like, I don't know. And this is kind of what his like fall from grace, and he kind of realized he has to change his shit. But like, there's never a scene later where he apologizes. You realize like, oh, that suit, it did this to me, but it's also sort of my fault, by the way. No one should ever do that to anybody or any, like, there's no discussion whatsoever.
What I love is the suit. From my understanding, at least in this movie, anyways, it functions kind of like alcohol.
Sure, yeah.
It's like, your inhibitions are totally depleted.
Yeah.
It amps up your normal opinions and
Oh,
emotions and
aggression
whatnot.
Aggression.
is
It's
the
kinda
big
like some-
one.
It's like booze and coke. Like
Yeah,
this-
somewhere around there, inside of him, somewhere, he wants to hit her anyway.
I guess so.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's
like
what
that's
the-
what the
that's-
movie's telling me. That's
Yeah.
that's what
Well,
this is
that
your
one,
movie.
I guess he's got to be a man now. What do men do?
It's just so like, and I mean, like, I don't think this would be if there's like obviously it's not in Spider-Man Homecoming, but it wouldn't be like what we talk about domestic violence.
Wait,
it wouldn't
whoa. Spider-Man's not hitting girls in this movie?
No.
I might skip it.
We don't talk like the internet would explode if that happened now. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
sure.
But like in this movie, it's kind of just like the Jesse Spano "I'm so excited" moment. Like it's just like, oh man, he's losing control. It's like no. That's not this movie.
So now it's just fart fighting, and
Well,
that's
this is
it.
it cuts to my favorite moment of the film. My all-time favorite moment of Spider-Man 3. Eddie Brock goes into a church and asks God to murder Peter Parker.
It's a good scene,
Well,
man.
you know,
Bravo.
That is how Christianity works.
Hey, man upstairs, it's me, Eddie Brock. I need you to do me a favor. Murder Peter Parker. What the
And
fuck?
the priest comes out and says, you got 20 grand. Hey, man, that's going to cost you.
Make it look like an accident.
Okay. It's me, Jesus Whistling Hand Christ.
No, keep that to a minimum. He's going to hear you coming.
It's the only one who could kill Spider-Man is Jesus.
That would be an amazing fight.
What
Think
an
about
epic
that.
fight,
man.
yeah.
Fucking like turning the Hudson into wine and throwing it on him, and then I don't know, maybe like beating him with fish.
Oh, like a bunch of fish, man.
Yeah,
Where did
dude.
all these fish come from?
Oh, it's raining fish. How can you you can't swing from a building if it's raining fish.
And he keeps dying, but keeps coming back. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, like a video game.
Like a video
Keeps
game.
respawning.
Hits him with a chair that he made because carpenter.
Oh, now we're in Celebrity Deathmatch.
Oh fuck
Oh,
yeah!
God.
Where's Mills Lane? What Miles Lane?
No, you got
Oh,
it right.
it's
Mills
Mills
Lane.
Lane.
Oh
Mills
god,
Lane.
fuck! Thank you.
He's busy filming that Judge show. Is that still around?
no way.
good
You kidding
Lord,
me?
no.
He's probably long dead.
No, I think he's alive.
He's not dead, but please, the way these daytime judge shows exist, that's totally plausible that show's still
No,
on
I
the
think
air.
it's,
You know,
more,
it's
it's more plausible he's pushing up Daisy.
I think it's plausible he probably stumped for Trump, man.
Oh,
Oh,
I bet
sure,
you. I
why
bet
not?
you.
Well, I saw a lot of shit in my career, and Donald Trump will fix it.
It was him and Michael Buffer.
They're in some
I
fucking
would-
bullshit VFW.
I would like
Let's get ready to MAGA.
my nominee for the Supreme Court is Judge Mills Lane.
And thank you very much. He's always wearing rubber gloves and everyone's a little creeped out by it. I don't want to get blood on me.
You never know when blood's gonna be shed.
He goes to church, and there is it's a comic thing. The weakness of Venom is sound.
Right.
The bell makes it him allowed to rip off the costume. It goes on top of Eddie Brock, and whoops! Now we get a cut to. He's just like finds the Sandman on the street, and he's like, "Hey, Thomas Haden Church, you want to be in this movie? Hey, buddy." He like drives by in a car, like opens it up. Hey, man, you want to be in a movie? Yeah, dude. Yeah, I'd like to be in a movie.
Heard you looking for the Spider-Man.
So he calls him the Spider.
The Spider.
That
yeah.
sucks.
At 106 minutes, we finally get Venom because I paused it to check it out.
Sure.
So, like, close to 2 hours, he finally comes in this movie. But yeah, how does he fucking know who Flint Marco is? And because he's even like, "Hey, Marco," or whatever.
Yeah, and he's like, "Oh, I heard about your daughter." I'm like, "How do you hear about his daughter?"
Where did you find him on the street? What are you talking about?
The fucking the commandant from Spaceballs shows him the beginning of the movie, and he's like, "Oh, okay, got it." This
So-
is now.
They kind of team up, and and here's the thing, because you think, speaking of, Cabin mentioned Batman Returns, but like, you got two villains in that movie, and they team up way earlier in the fucking film than the last like 25 minutes.
Because it's a better written movie. It's
Yeah.
like it's actually written like a movie.
Yes, and
It
they have a
isn't
connection.
They thought about the script.
Yep.
It isn't a fucking afterthought.
And like, they know where to find each other. Like Oswald Cobblepot's like out and about. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's not just like
Dude, just
he randomly stumbles across her on the street.
start with Eddie Brock already was disgraced or has
Yes.
a grudge against Peter Parker
Yes.
for being such a quote unquote good photographer. You know what I mean?
These
Like,
shots aren't that great.
let him be at the bottom, just like Sandman at the start.
Exactly. Or like just do any of this earlier and cut out a lot of the other stuff that
Right.
if this is what the movie you're making is.
How about cut out some of those Uncle Ben flashbacks?
No,
but then
we
he wouldn't
can't.
die.
So then, like, they set up this gag where Mary Jane gets into a cab, and it's Thomas Hayden Church is behind the wheel. or is it
it's
Eddie
no,
Brock.
Eddie
Eddie
Brock.
Brock. He's like, "Where are you going?" And he has like a weird tongue. For
Oh
a second
right,
or
yeah, it's kind of
something.
like a that Ghostbusters. Is it Ghostbusters 2, Ghostbusters 1, that cab gag?
Yeah, I think it's this first one where the guy is just a big zombie guy. That's,
Yeah, it's a
that's the
zombie.
first one.
Yeah.
That's the first
But
one.
that's kind of what they're doing here because he turns around and he's got his fucked up weird teeth and all that shit.
And I mean, like, not to be this guy, but she gets kidnapped at the end of all of these movies. Like every single movie ends with this redheaded lady getting kidnapped.
Yep.
Well, that was another thing on the Tribune is that it was originally written that this was supposed to be Gwen Stacy.
Oh,
And at the very end, they changed it that it was Mary Jane, and like Sam Raimi had to apologize to
Bryce Dallas Howard.
to Kirsten Dunst for making her be
Oh yeah,
kidnapped bait once
Again.
again.
Like you need to have her branch off, and her responsibilities to this story lie with Harry Osborn.
Yeah,
And that's just whatever. Like she, knows that he's the Goblin. She goes and talks to him and whatever else, and that's that. But because you didn't fucking bother to make what's her face a character,
yeah.
Bryce Dallas Howard, like it wouldn't make sense that all of a sudden she's just like kidnapped at the end of this movie.
It's just more economic. But I mean, also just don't kidnap anybody. Like
about
have
that?
them
Yeah.
fight them.
Just-
There's a great line. Aunt May, because when he'd kill, I'm going all the way back because I just wanted to tell this joke.
Rewind.
Aunt May, he goes up to Aunt May. He's like, "Oh, Flint Marco's dead. Spider-Man killed him." And then Aunt May's like, "Spider-Man doesn't kill anybody. Spider-Man just kind of dicks around for 2 hours, and then the guy accidentally kills himself at the end. Isn't that how these things work?
somebody shouts, "I will not die a monster," and then that's that. Done and done.
He fucks around for 2 weeks, and then the guy kills himself."
Spider-Man case closed.
Fast forward.
Yeah, back to
So she's taken up into like a giant fucking
Venom web.
web because we just love sitting
And now we
in
cut
webs.
just to save time. We cut to a news report, and like, who could ever care about it?
This news reporter is the worst actor in the movie.
Uh-huh.
This woman, she's putting on an English accent. Don't know if it's legit or what, but we don't have fucking English people on New York local news here.
No,
but
definitely
okay,
not.
let's just keep rolling.
You're talking about that instead of Hal Fishman?
Yo,
This guy named Hal Fishman, and he looks like a fish. And I'm like, wait, is this a? I was going to ask you, Steve, is
this
Hal
BoJack
Fishman-
Horseman?
Well, no, is he like going to be a Spider-Man villain? Is he in the comics?
shit.
Does he turn into a fucking fish?
Turn
Maybe he's
into a
gonna,
swordfish.
This old bastard that looks like Sidney Pollack, is he going to later
Yes.
become a villain?
yeah, like a fish man. Maybe Jesus, Whistling Hands Christ, turns him into a fish.
Oh, I like it.
Well, Vulture's an old man villain, so like
Oh,
the
that's
swordfish could be an
Right, the swordfish. Yeah, I remember that. Get a blowjob while you hack this computer. Previous episode, by the way, if you want to check out the back catalog.
But this woman, like, she is like, she needs to be like, there's another Spider-Man fight.
Yes, exactly.
But instead, she's acting like she is watching the fucking Hindenburg go
She's
down.
like, I can't believe it's such a tragedy. And they're like, oh, and somehow they know it's Mary Jane Watson inside the fucking cab.
That's great. They're like, failed actress Mary Jane Watson has been kidnapped. Oh, way to rub it in, local news.
so and
and then somewhere that guy's like, is that? Shit, that's our waitress. That's our. We're never gonna get this. We're never gonna get the check.
she didn't get someone to cover for this shit.
So wait,
She just took a smoke break, and now she's great.
so Peter Parker would be like failed pizza man, Peter Parker.
All right, there's a brief moment where he's delivering pizzas in this movie.
And then
Right?
that's the second.
That's the second
Oh,
one.
fuck, I watched them all in a row. Shut
He's
up.
working for Asif Manvi.
That's a fun
Yes.
scene. Yeah, that's in a much better movie.
And then now back
you
to
got
you.
some fucking Hal Sparks in that scene in that second
Oh,
movie.
Fuck, jeez. Well, back to you in the studio, John.
So he
So Sandman shows up and starts pounding the fuck out of Spider-Man.
And again, like
Yeah.
Thomas Haden Church put on all this muscle just so a cartoon can be his character for the last
sand
20
monster.
minutes. And it's not even him talking.
no, it's just-
It's just roars.
It's just,
Oh,
It's
and
pretty
then
good.
Guess what? Franco Goblin shows up after all to help Peter
the
Parker.
butler scene. We gotta talk about.
Bernard! Bernard!
Bernard, he keeps saying.
Right, he's like, I tended your father's wounds when he died, and I've seen things in this house you wouldn't believe, young man. I've seen
of group sex.
attack ships on fire off the shoulder of
The
Orion.
entire plot of To Live and Die in L.A. happened in here in New York.
There was a car here and there.
It's like fucking. He's like Woodhouse on Archer.
It's
Yes.
just like, who is this guy? He's never talked before. There was something on one of
This
the
is one of
trivia-
the greatest
Yes.
trivia pieces.
It's like that character was supposed to be a figment of Franco's imagination.
Yep.
Yes.
Which would fix the plot hole of like, who is this guy and who cares?
right.
But they just didn't do it. They were like,
No.
oh
Also-
no.
But also, then it makes it very weird when he is at least 7 times in this movie saying, Bernard!
Yeah, he's yelling it in front of people, which is the problem.
And like this guy's just like, oh, and I tended your father's wounds for some reason, and I saw that the glider, it was his own glider that killed him.
And here's a total change, by the way. That doesn't exist in that editor's cut.
Oh, really?
Really?
He fucking looks at a broken photo of him, Peter, and Mary Jane, and he's like, "I'll go help."
That's better.
It is.
It's
There's
a lot
no,
better.
There's no
Definitely
Woodhouse.
shorter. It's
Yeah.
certainly
Help.
shorter.
Help for Mary Jane. Like, who cares about Peter
Well,
Parker?
Exactly.
she was the one, originally it was written that she finds out he's Green Goblin and then convinces him to help.
That's also
Where
something.
instead of fucking Peter Parker and him yet again yammering.
Oh, and they're high-fiving, dude. They're like, he flies in and they start like, the old gang's back together.
It's
Bibbidi boppity
ridiculous. It
back.
makes no sense. He's disfigured. Did we mention his face is sagging all the way to fucking...
Dude,
He looks like it's like half him and half Robert Davi. Like, you
Yeah,
know what I mean?
Oh my God, you're right. That's terrible. So half of him is writing for Breitbart.com right now.
His left hand right from Breitbart.
Man, fuck Robert Davi.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you think that when they were filming The Disaster Artist, Franco was showing the makeup artist like clips from this movie? He's like, "Look, I look like Tommy Wiseau in this movie.
Yes, I
Make
do.
my face fucked up like that."
I do.
Stupid.
So yeah, we're slapping high fives, we're woo-hooing all over the place, saving the day.
and they're like doing like a bunch of combo moves. Like, you go high, I'll go low. Like, all whatever this nonsense
it's
is.
Marvel versus Capcom, dude. I mean, that's exactly what it is. There's a lot of like, and this I hate in these types of situations. There's a line that's definitely I'm a little busy at the moment. Oh, fucking shove it.
It might as
shove
well. It might as well be We Got Company. It's very close.
Oh, yep.
Holy shit, you unlocked Sandman? Oh, man. Awesome.
Oh man, I'm gonna play as Salmon. Oh wait, Sang Sung wins. Fuck again.
So Peter, the guy,
But also-
Sandman is like, oh, sorry.
No, but you're right. Sandman, they're hucking pumpkin bombs at this dude. Get a fucking fire hose. It worked once. It's always gonna work. This guy is fucking cat litter come to life.
Well, that's what drives you crazy. He does a loop-de-loop. Harry goes out of the thing. He circles a water tower
Yeah, it's
and
like-
doesn't use it.
It's like, that's what we know this guy's weakness is, motherfuck.
But these pumpkin bombs are like they're blowing up inside him and they're turning him to glass and he's shattering.
yeah.
So it's like, because I mean, he came back from water. Also, spoiler alert: this doesn't kill him either.
Yeah.
but he's like briefly vanquished, so we can focus on Venom. That's Sandman singing the NBC call signs. WNBC.
Oh, God damn it, Paul. You said it better. Come on.
So then it's like Peter starts banging pipes together, and
It's very much, the end of Daredevil, which happened 2 years ago.
oh right,
I
yeah.
didn't even think of that.
4 wasn't because Daredevil's 2003.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just banging these pipes, and then he starts like shoving these pipes in the ground. It's actually
He's laying pipe. You
Well, no,
could
he
say.
impaled first before this happens. Venom impales.
oh right,
Franco with his glider, and he has
right.
Like father, like son.
Yeah, Franco's like my father before me. I will be impaled by sports equipment.
For my best friend, who I hate.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? You just came back.
So yeah, then they just this makes this sound wave that kind of removes the suit from Brock. He takes Brock out, and like
this is kind of a great moment.
It's
though.
a really fucking good moment.
And so like Eddie Brock,
and the suit's like just a big monster.
yeah,
now.
and it looks pretty cool. It
does.
It's screaming and yelling. It kind of looks like a xenomorph. It's not bad.
Yeah.
And then like Peter grabs a pumpkin bomb and goes to toss it, and Eddie Brock's like, "Well, no, what are you doing?" And he jumps in it, and just they all go
So
up.
fucking stupid.
And you can see if you pause it just right,
Yes.
his skeleton.
Oh, I didn't do that.
Dude, fucking crispy critter,
That's
man.
awesome.
He's
Fuck
evaporated.
that guy.
The one thing about all these movies is Raimi always gets a little bit of weird horror in all these movies. Like,
Yeah.
even with one of the Sandman fights, he's like pushing. It's kind of great. He's pushing his face up against a moving train, and
Yeah.
his face kind of evaporates.
I like
Yeah,
that.
it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, so he's dead.
he's like for real dead. He's not coming back.
No.
And then like Harry is just dying on the rooftop.
And they're crying.
Yeah, they're
A lot of
A
crying.
lot of crying.
Oh yeah.
But he's
dead.
redeemed now, Chris.
Oh, that's great. Boy, that really is.
and the butler's like,
that's fucking fantastic.
excellent. Now I inherit the estate.
Oh yes. Oh, cut to the evil butler. That's gonna be the
Yes.
villain of Spider-Man 4.
Mm-hmm. And then so now there's both of them in a mirror. The butler's taking a shower. Avengers!
I will clean the city for you, my masters.
Instead, no, it's cut to Harry's funeral. Pretty great. Joe Manganiello just standing in the background as Flash Thompson for
yeah.
no reason.
Sure.
Sure, bring him back. Who cares in
People
this
like
movie? Why not? Well, nobody gave a shit back then.
No,
now
yeah.
you get Joe Manganiello in the movie. I'm like, all right, now we're talking.
He's filling the frame too. I'll tell you that much.
Oh, absolutely.
Beef.
Because he's not in that second one, right? He's just
No.
in the first one.
He's in the first one as a 45-year-old high school student.
So yeah, what my thing in this funeral scene? Why is it that Gwen Stacy and Captain Stacy are in attendance?
Great question.
What are you there for? Joe Manganiello's got more reason to be there than they do.
I used to beat that guy up in high school. I really should go to his.
I mean, he probably covered up quite a lot for Mr. Osborn. Osborn Sr.
Oh, you think so?
I think he's
Wait, so you're
probably-
saying Cromwell was crooked?
Probably, I mean, like back in the the
Yeah,
90s.
the
man,
aughts
come
there.
on.
Yeah,
No, old New York.
Then you know when Giuliani came in and killed all the homeless people.
I'm so sick of these Sandmen. Sandmen ruining construction sites.
Sir, they're homeless people.
No, they are made of sand. I've seen this.
No, that's a skeleton. That's
No,
meat.
we wash them away with water. That's the only way to get rid of Sandmen.
Chuck them across the other side of the Hudson. Make them Jersey's problem.
And then Christy starts eating them.
Oh my God. Is this like a 9/11 thing?
Yeah.
Is this racial profiling?
Stronger than the sand, man. People in New Jersey, New York area will get that reference. So he's dead. There's a funeral. Nobody cares. I think at this point, though, our versions change again.
So then Peter and Mary Jane sit down in a coffee shop, and he explains exactly what was going on, and he decides to go to counseling. And no, they just apologize for the domestic abuse, and they just decide that they're safer apart.
No, that doesn't happen.
No, they don't.
That's
Oh, that
fake.
doesn't
No,
happen?
no,
That's
not in
fake.
any version.
Oh,
actually.
really?
No, that's just in your
It's
head.
a fever dream, Steve.
Wait, so how does your version end? I don't remember.
I mean, it's just he goes to her restaurant and proposes. Did I make that
Yeah,
up?
she's asked to sing again.
yes.
So many mozzarella sticks, not but like no, and she
They're
starts
just
singing.
getting colder. I see him in the basket. Oh fuck! I see him in the
also-
basket.
She's singing again,
I see them. They're getting colder in the basket. God damn it!
and then he escorts her down from it. They dance for a bit, and then he's gonna propose. It
Yeah,
seems. And who cares?
And
And there's like no dialogue.
Oh, yeah,
zero
no.
dialogue.
I am
No
asleep.
apologies.
I am asleep.
see, there's no indication of a proposal from what I saw. Like he goes to the
Yeah.
club and they like awkwardly hug,
Oh,
and
okay.
they're both like miserable. It's kind of a weird like we still hate each other at the end of this movie.
Okay.
and then it hits credits.
That'd be better.
It works a little better.
Is that your cut?
That was that editor's cut.
Oh, okay, yeah. Because like in this one, they're like super happy and they love each other.
No way.
Oh, really?
They just kind of hug like, yeah, all right. Everything fucking sucks.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's what being in your 20s is all about. My
That's
friend.
true.
That is very true.
And your 30s too. Weird.
Yeah.
Oh,
wait,
shit.
wait. Does everything suck forever? Okay, great.
And that is the end of Spider-Man 3. Except for my favorite credit in the world, which is nowadays VFX Master, or I guess just FX Master, but The Walking Dead's Greg Nicotero, credited in this movie as operating a dog puppet.
What dog puppet?
I don't know. Where was there a dog in this movie?
Was it like did the Sandman get into a dog?
Yo, that Sandman went into that dog. I don't know. It was just dog puppet. Gregory
I left
Nicotero.
this-
Get out of there. Get out of there. Get out of that dog.
I left the sand that was supposed to be my dick in that dog. No, it's not what you're thinking. I just got my sand everywhere.
Oh, hey Peter, when you showered this morning, could you mail me some of that sand that fell out of your taint?
Falling apart.
That was
thing.
my ring finger.
Some of the Sandman probably got inside of Peter Parker.
Well, no, because there is that scene where he takes
Yeah.
his boot off and all
Yeah.
the sand comes out. Look, have you ever been to the beach?
It should turn back into parts of that shirt.
Have you ever been to the Thomas Haden Church?
Actually, we didn't mention, but he makes good with Spider-Man, and then he
blows.
just blows away.
I'm sorry, I have a sick daughter. Did you see the movie Goodbye?
Yeah, it's just it's a sick daughter. Oh, cool, you ruined my life. Yeah, I know. You kind of no, you didn't, but whatever.
And that's the end of Spider-Man 3. And then they were going to make a fourth one and abruptly canceled it and rebooted it.
Yep.
Take that. Would anybody recommend this movie?
No. You can, but I do think the first two are great. If I had to, I Homecoming is really new in my head. I want to say it's the best one, but I still like Spider-Man 2 after all these years, so I have to give it more credence, I think.
Okay.
But it's probably 2 Homecoming, Spider-Man 1, and then it's just a fucking cliff. And it's like probably Amazing Spider-Man, and then probably 3, and then Spider-Man 3, then Amazing Spider-Man 2. Because I do think Amazing Spider-Man 2 is worse.
Mm-hmm.
I disagree on that fact, but that's fine.
Yeah.
I just hate this fucking movie. This is my least favorite Marvel movie. It really is.
Of all of them?
All of them. I would watch The Last Stand happily.
Wolverine Origins?
Even that, because it's so stupid.
Silver Surfer.
Yes.
You're crazy.
Yeah,
you're
you're nuts.
fucking
You're nuts.
nuts.
I love how much Chris dislikes this movie.
I hate this fucking movie. But yeah, so don't see it ever if you can avoid it. I do like both the other Raimis. I haven't seen Homecoming yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, see 1 and maybe 2 if you're curious, and that's it. I didn't see Homecoming yet, and I hate the Amazing Spider-Man movies probably more than all of these.
Yeah.
And that's it for me. Bye.
Oh, Eric left. Bye, Eric.
Door slam sound effect. Yeah, I would say that these 3 Raimi movies are all totally reliable hangover movies.
Yes, that's fair.
This movie is a fucking turd salad if you ever saw one. I did see Homecoming. I love it. I think it would be Homecoming, Raimi 2, Raimi 1, Amazing 1, Raimi 3, Turkish Spider-Man, and then Amazing 2.
Where does Italian Spider-Man?
Oh, is that what I was thinking of? I don't know. One
I
of those.
thought there's also a Turkish.
One of those
Spider-Man.
silly.
Oh wait, I'm
things.
back. Oh no,
Giuseppe
I'm back.
Spider-Man.
I'm back in podcast form.
That fucking Jamie Foxx one that we did, actually, funny enough, at the start of this season, is the most rancid.
Oh, that is
one.
weird. We kind of bookended with Spider-Man.
I didn't even realize.
Yeah,
that.
how funny is that? That's
That
not
was on
that
purpose.
funny.
It was on purpose.
It was a funny
Long
joke.
plan.
It was a funny joke.
We were building the arc all through the season. You
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
see it. Now you look back.
All
and
the
you see it.
clues. Oh, the clues are so
There the whole time. Go re-listen to the whole season.
Right,
And,
the Transformers-a-thon was kind of like the Venom at the very end.
That's Spider-Man 3, directed by Sam Raimi. If you want more WHM, check us out on our website, whmpodcast.com, or find us over at the HeadGum Network. Rate and review the show wherever you get it. We would greatly appreciate that, of course. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. We are at WHM Podcast, and right into that mailbag, I guess for a September issue. There's nothing coming out in
we are
August.
coming back.
We're coming back, yeah. But, if it's something like time sensitive, just letting you know.
They never send us a time-sensitive email. Oh, my God. Please respond.
We all hate movies at gmail.com. Yes, this is indeed the final episode of We Hate Movies Season 7. Thank you so much for your continued support over the years
Speaking
and
of
months.
support, patreon.com/We Hate Movies.
Yep.
We will have in August new episodes of The Nexus
Yep.
and
Animation Damnation.
that's correct.
So we'll be going away, but not going away if you're on Patreon. We're also going to have...
We're not going away here either.
there's
no,
reruns
no.
going
Yes.
on.
There's reruns. There might be a couple surprises.
And just
That's
FYI,
true.
what reruns are, everybody, our first 100 episodes are not really available on anyone's feed. So we take old episodes that aren't available, make them available again on the main feed to put a fun little bumper there. Next week, what are we doing, everybody?
Batman Forever.
That's
What?
right.
The superhero
Yeah.
thing continues.
Yes.
That's a great
right.
episode. People
Yes,
really like
people
that one.
like Batman.
People
So
too.
so revisit that next week, and then we'll be back with new episodes on this main feed sometime in September.
After Labor Day.
Sometime after Labor Day. Well, we can't wear white anymore, but we'll be back making new episodes. We Hate Movies Season 8 will happen. Thank you so much again for your continued support. And you know what? Spend these next few weeks just spreading the word about the show.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, tell that grandma of yours, like, hey, you don't have a lot of time left, Aunt May. Why don't you start listening to We Hate Movies?
Yeah, how about a 2-hour episode on Spider-Man 3? You haven't seen it.
Oh, those We Hate Movies, boys.
Also, rate and review in iTunes.
Right.
Wherever you get
he already
it.
said that,
Oh, he
motherfucker.
did? Well, sorry. Christ.
All right.
But
Marketing machine.
it's it doesn't hurt to remind people.
Right. You know what? If you could, why don't you rate and review in iTunes? Honestly,
Oh,
it
great
helps.
idea, Eric. Thank you so much for bringing that up. I think re-bring that up.
People
was a good
don't
idea.
realize how much it actually helps. If you want to support the show, you cannot, contribute to the Patreon. We understand. Give us a rating or a review.
You second me.
So anyway, before we end the show, I just want to say, before we end for the season,
Right.
I also want to just quickly say, please rate and review on iTunes. It would really help the show.
That's true. Yes. It's a good one.
Great job, Eric. Thank you so much.
I can't believe you
Thank
caught
us-
that. That's
Thank
so
us
great.
all. Thank us all.
Rotten hell.
So until the fall, I'm Andrew Jupin.
Steven Sadak.
Chris Cabin.
Eric Siska.
Take it easy.
That was a HeadGum podcast.